Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast with Jack Ribas and myself, Steve King. We have the 48th episode. We're only two away from that number 50. We need to start planning a little special something. We like doing special episodes.
Right.
And I mean, 50's a good number.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking on this week's episode. We'll be talking about the UFC Vegas 25 recap. Some weird shit went on on that card. Really good fight, and then some news, and we got a really good event coming up. And it's not the UFC. Can't wait to get into that and talk about it. So let's get started with the UFC 25 recap. I guess we'll start off with
talking points potentially.
the craziness,
the unexpected outcome.
I didn't see this whole event live. I didn't see any of it really. I did catch Yuri though, and that was amazing. But here we have Luana Pinheiro beating Randa Marcos via a disqualification in the first round because of an illegal up kick from Randa. So I didn't see it live, obviously, but I did see a lot of, like, it was crazy. Like, I went on Twitter like hours after this even happened. And there were still people talking about this. Like, this was one of the biggest things that came out of this whole event was this up kick. As you can see on the screen there, Randa is sitting down. Pinheiro is on her side. Was it a flop? Was it a flop? Was it illegal, or was it just Randa, kind of trying to get her the fuck off her? I mean, it's like,
well, it was both of those things. It was definitely illegal.
But like, dude, like, do we think that should be illegal though?
No,
I guess that's kind of what I'm asking more than was it illegal? Obviously, it was illegal. She got disqualified for it, and Pinheiro got the win. But should it be illegal? Like, should any kind of strike not be illegal? You know what I mean? Like, unless it's like a headbutt or something like that, and
back of the head shots.
Yeah, back of the head shots and stuff like that. But like like that kick, dude. I saw nothing wrong with it.
Well, I think that, you and I and most people who watch a lot of, let's say, more organizations than just the UFC. I think we're all for all strikes, as many as we can without those ones that we said, like back of the head shots, which ones that are clearly just kind of more dangerous. Just we know that about them. Whereas, you're allowed to head kick somebody, land a shin right in the middle of their face, standing up. But if you do it on the ground, it's different. It's a silly thing, and I mean,
because it's less powerful on the ground. I honestly don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't even know the reasoning that kick is illegal.
Well, up kicks are legal, right? It's just the fact that Pinheiro was knee down.
Right. Other than her knee being down.
It's stupid. It's so dumb. It's really so dumb. And I think that we've seen how dumb that these strikes being restricted, how dumb it is in the last 2 months, with all these disqualifications and shit, which is kind of funny how randomly they've just happened all at the same time. But no, I'm all for these kind of things being
lately.
Yeah, I'm all. I know it's very odd. I'm all for down strikes to downed opponents, that kind of thing. I think that's totally fine. But as for this fight specifically, it was a big bummer. I actually, just like you, Steve, I didn't get to watch this full card live, and I actually didn't see the next two that we're talking about. So hopefully you did watch those because I actually have yet to get to those because just have been very busy
Oh
and
man.
whatnot.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, so I did catch this one live though because of course I got to see Randa, and then
Linda.
I do
Yeah.
like Luana as well.
Yeah.
But great fight while it lasted, and then
What
terrible,
was it like
terrible
a full 4 minutes?
4 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
great fight while it lasted. And then
For
just a
Pinheiro looked amazing.
dude, those hip tosses she was nailing. Like, there's the
Yeah.
judo.
Judo.
There's the judo.
Yes, sir.
And Randa was really getting aggressive at some points. Like, it was fun.
Nice.
I was
Nice.
enjoying it. But it's obviously a bummer for both of them. Like, you don't want to win that way, which we will get into that.
Honestly, I felt like worse for Randa.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible way to go on a 4-fight losing streak when it's your own fault.
So bad, like so
easily
bad.
avoidable.
Now she's what 10-12-1 or something like that. Like, that's not a good record. And like you said, 4-fight losing streak now in the UFC. I just don't see them cutting her after that. After some janky ass fucking sorry call.
Like, I know it makes it more interesting because we knew that this fight, if she lost like a normal loss, that we were like, okay, that's got to be it for her. Unfortunately,
I
but,
just don't see it. I can't see them cutting her after this.
Yeah, now it brings in the question, like, the rematch and all that stuff would be probably a logical thing
Rematch
to do.
would be, a rematch would be great.
Yeah, but so, and what's up, everybody? Good to see you all. We got Rue, Ghost Phantom. I see WMAC now. Chuck is there. I got Pulver, Sound of Violence. Thank you, sir. Looking suave as usual. I appreciate it. I try. So let's get into this, Steve. The talk is that Luana was faking it, which is, I'm pretty sure I saw you tweet about it too, which is absolutely hilarious to me. And Rue kind of points it out here right away, saying people don't realize how powerful up kicks are. That's the whole reason we try to pass guard. That is just one point about it. But it's easy, and I tweeted this out as well, it's easy to say somebody's faking it when you're not on the receiving end of the shot. Like, just literal weeks ago, we saw a shove cause a concussion, and fucked up Drakkar Close. A push, like that took him out of his fight.
Right.
You don't know how somebody's going to react to a blow, and if it lands in the perfect spot, yada yada. And it doesn't even make sense for Luana to fake it when, like you said, Steve, she was doing very well. It wasn't like she was getting completely dominated, needed a way out, like
at all.
Like, if we're going to be honest, Diego Sanchez against Michelle Pereira, that's kind of a good example there. We don't have to go down that road. But it doesn't make sense for Luana or most people to fake these kind of things because, again, take what I already said into consideration, but add in the fact that you don't know what kind of call the ref's going to make. You don't know if he's going to go with a no contest or a DQ like we got here. Like, it's such a gamble to... you're pretty much gambling with your win bonus, right? Like, she didn't know in that moment, like, all right, I know for sure that I'm going to get it, because you never know with the refs. You fucking never know. So it's just silly to me when it's so easy to judge when, you're not taking it. And yeah, we can look at it, all that, but just being the competitor that she is in her debut, was doing just fine in the fight. It doesn't make any sense on top of everything else. So it's like,
I think it's just idiots being idiots. People who have literally probably never been in any kind of conflict, in any kind of fight whatsoever, have never been touched, have never played a sport. Like, you can get a concussion from just bumping into somebody.
Right. I mean, like the push, like I said.
Like you said, if it's just depends on where and the body. I mean, I just don't see, I don't see her faking at all. Like, I think I can't believe how many people were saying it. Like, I feel like it's like one or two people start saying it and then other people jump on. It's that type of thing. I don't think that people really think that she was faking it. I think they're saying on like Twitter specifically she was faking it
Right.
to be cool, like to the cool factor. You know what I mean? Like it's like Twitter's
Oh yeah.
like high school, you know? So you kind of go with the cool kids of what they're saying and doing, rather than like seeing things for what they really are. The girl was freaking out. She was laying there out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I wouldn't have kind of summarized it like that, but that's very true. Kind of the, I don't know, I guess kind of following the sheep kind of thing, right? Where it's kind of
For
the
sure.
narrative and just run with it, sort of.
For
Everyone's
sure.
like jumps on.
You start seeing a couple of people say it. They get likes because it's funny or whatever. The first couple are funny, might be funny, but then like the all the other idiots start saying it too, and they start using the hashtag, so more people see it. So it must be true,
Right.
right? So
Right.
it's false, completely false. She's not faking it. As Ghost Phantom says, she wasn't faking it. We always look to have a good base and posture when someone's guard.
Yeah,
So
when you're not expecting it,
a kick like that, you're not expecting that at all.
which
You're
makes it
not.
even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rue says she wasn't faking, and then I think I saw somebody else say they weren't faking too, or maybe it was Rue. Um, yeah, I I think the smart people who watch MMA more than just the UFC, they watch other promotions and stuff. Um, Kind of know what faking is and what faking isn't.
Yeah.
And no, it's not faking. I saw her being called the LeBron James of MMA. I was like, dude, look, I'm a Laker fan. I love LeBron James now that he's with the Lakers because he won a title for us last year, and hopefully we do it again this year. We're bad right now; we're sinking, but playoff time, we'll see what's up. But I mean, when LeBron was with the Cavs and with the Heat and stuff, he was a flopping motherfucker. Same with Shaq. Shaq did it with the Lakers too. Flopping motherfucker. Pinheiro literally got kicked, dude, in the head. Like there's no comparison from basketball flop to an MMA
Right.
flop. That was not a flop. That comparison blew my mind.
I think that I like I said didn't get to watch this event live and was kind of on and off Twitter a little bit, but was able
Yeah.
to. I tuned in for this one, but I think that maybe the fact that this was such a dramatic kind of thing and the only finish on the card, finish I
Crazy.
guess until the co-main event,
I
like it
mean,
was a
yeah.
decision fest until the very end, made
Yep.
people really kind of nitpick it, I guess. Um, no, I don't know the herd mentality, kind of like you were
Oh yeah,
saying
for
with
sure, 100%. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the bad thing like about social media, especially now. Um, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of young kids watching right now, like young kid mentality. I don't know how young they are because they don't use their real names. They don't use a real Avi. Nothing is real about them. Um, Not even their opinions apparently. But like I feel like they're younger-ish, like early teens, late teens to early 20s or so, just now getting into the sport, because it's probably on ESPN now a little bit more
right.
often, and it's the UFC, but they're not watching Bellator, they're not watching PFL, they're not watching Combate, they're not watching One, they're not watching KSW, they're not watching anything other than the UFC. So they're using the hashtags, and they're seeing what everybody else is seeing, so they're saying the same thing because they know no better.
Oh, I was muted, wasn't I?
There you go. Oh,
Yeah.
is it me or
No, I was like, yeah, I was saying good points indeed. It just it feels like there's one thing from every event these days.
there it is? There, I mean, yeah, there has been one thing with every event, even one,
Oh yeah,
the Eddie Alvarez thing, and then
gosh, his
yeah,
he sure fueled that fire this week, didn't he? He poured some
yeah,
on that. That was a
yeah,
little bit
Eddie,
upsetting.
yeah, Eddie,
He got hit a little hard, obviously.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, you
boy.
sure did.
But yeah, hope to see. I guess hope to run it back. I suppose I wouldn't be mad at that. Gives
I
Randa
think
another
they need
chance, you
to.
know.
Yeah, I think they need to. Randa wasn't. I mean, she was losing the fight. She was
But not
losing.
like dominated. Not
Right.
like
She
dominated.
wasn't getting dominated.
Good to see you, Yusuf, showing up a bit late. It's fine, man. We were a bit late ourselves, so it works out just
Yeah.
fine.
You
Gosh,
literally only missed the Pinheiro and Marcos talk a
yeah.
little bit.
And
Who says it's a really weird rule because the person getting up kicked is the one making the mistake
by having their knee down, you mean?
by having their knee down. I would assume, yeah.
I
And
mean, that's. I think the thrower is still the one making the mistake, because, you know.
but we talked about this though. Like the up kick shouldn't be illegal anyway.
Right.
So
But it is.
yeah, I mean, but it is. You're right. But it is. But yeah, I think he's saying because her knee was down.
I mean, if he means in terms of positional mistake and, being open to that, I guess.
100%
But
positional. 100% positional mistake. But I mean, like Randa shouldn't have thrown it because of the
right.
rule. Because them are the rules. But I mean,
It's like DJ and Rice. He wasn't.
yeah,
He's used to not being open in that position, and yeah,
very
Rue
true.
says you don't do that in jiu-jitsu, and yeah, with the background that Luana has, and Yusuf asking, do you need both knees down? No, it is just one.
Like barely even touching the mat.
Right.
Like,
you need two in what, New York for the silly hybrid rules? Like,
yeah.
Thankfully, we haven't been there in a while because of things, but I mean, not thankfully because of that, but I just wish that everything was the same fucking page,
Yeah.
At least in America, it definitely should be all states on the same page.
I mean, I honestly think that MMA should have unified rules throughout the whole world. It's a worldwide sport now.
Right.
You don't see much change between baseball when you play here and when you play in Cuba or in Japan. There's not much change at all. MMA is a worldwide sport. So yeah. I think there should be worldwide rules.
Yeah, I mean, when you're all on the same page, it's always
is that way. There's literally no rule changes in boxing. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world.
Yeah, hard to disagree. So we can dream, but won't happen probably for a good while. Anyway,
MMA is still a young sport.
Yeah.
It's still growing. Like, as much as we love MMA and the UFC's on every weekend, and we're so blessed. Like, I don't like throwing around that word blessed, but we're truly blessed to be able to watch so much MMA on like a weekly basis, and the UFC putting on shows every single weekend throughout the whole entire year almost. Bruce says FIBA and NBA have different rules for goaltending. Yeah, they do, but it's not a big difference. Where, yeah, it's not that big of a difference. And you can, I think if
what is
you
FIBA?
You can kind of acclimate. You can, if you were to go and play somewhere else, you can acclimate to the rule set. Fighters would be able to do the same. I mean, look what's happening with Demetrius Johnson or whatever. He knew about that rule in one. He even talked about that rule in one. He got the best of him.
That it did. But what got the best of me was taking a break on Saturday night. I had 2 weeks of straight work, so I needed to not watch this card live, so I haven't had time to catch up on these two fights. But tell me how it went, Steve. Didn't see the outcome, but apparently close. What's up with this fight?
Didn't watch it.
You didn't see it?
Dude, literally was drunk. So I wasn't watching fights. I literally caught Yuri making his walk, and that was it. But I made sure to watch him. You know, like I made sure. But I didn't watch this card at all, and I still haven't.
All right, so we are both late onto the party for these first two fights between Carolina and Polyana, and then Loma versus Hughes.
Yep, I did see clips of Loma. I saw clips of Loma.
A lot of clinch work from Loma, as expected.
Yeah, I should go back and watch that just because, the Muay Thai from Loma. It's beautiful. I really do need to go back and watch that.
No, I always try to make sure I have seen the fights before we go on the show, you guys, just to let you know. This is a rare case where we were both
of us, yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally both of us not watching these. That's not normal at all.
We should have established this before we came on to see if either of us had watched these two, but
yeah,
it happens.
Yusuf didn't watch. Nobody's watching. Nobody watched that event.
Just needed a break, man. But yeah. As for the stats, just to brush over real quick. Interesting to see that Loma did hit. She actually hit all the takedowns. She had 4 takedowns in this fight, 3 in the first round, 1 in the first round. So I'm very curious to see how it played out. And Hughes did win a round on all 3 judges' scorecards. So it sounds like it, just from numbers, sounds like it went about how I kind of thought, where Sam would have success and was capable of being all right there. But I'll have to see for myself. I'll definitely get around to it before next week, you guys. But
yeah, same. Rue says that Loma was using the same hip sway defense that got Whaley knocked out a week earlier.
Well, it worked out for Loma in this case. But lesser competition, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, Ghosts was an
Ghost
interesting comment.
Says that Loma versus Hughes was closer than people say.
Okay. See, that's what I was saying. I had a feeling it would be, just stylistically, and just, man, for Loma, as much as we love her and she is great, like, just there are people in this division, bodies and styles that they're gonna prevent her from going far as she can. Right. She's an atomweight. She is an atomweight. So I will have to watch it still, but it sounds like, from that kind of comment, Ghosts, that continuing to prove my point a little bit, but either way, she gets the win, and I guess we'll see what they do with her next. But yep, keeps on rolling. Well, all right.
That was quick.
Yeah, that shaved some time for the recap. So, all right. With that in mind, UFC Vegas 25 in the books. Steve's birthday in the books. He's older now, and as we all are every day, right? So
less drunk.
Less drunk today. I got pretty drunk Saturday as well. So Rue, this is kind of the thing that, and I've mentioned this before on the show. He's asking, how far do you guys think Loma will get? Not far as she could or should be able to at strawweight. Just you look at everybody like in the top 15 right now, excluding, let's say, Felice Herrig, who for some reason is still ranked. I'm assuming that hasn't changed, but she's in a real legitimate top 15 with, or top 20 or so. That's how good the strawweight division is, and how much bigger kind of people are stylistically, strong grapplers, powerful strikers, all this kind of thing. As good as Loma possibly can be at strawweight, it's still not going to be enough against the tip top people, and that's just a size thing, I think. So in the UFC, she's not gonna break. She's not gonna break the top 15. She could get close in that 20 range, but it's gonna be a struggle. She's just made for atom weight, and that's kind of how it is. And yeah, Yusuf, I see you saying Carla's small too, but
Yeah,
again,
but
stylistically, like I
she's got
said,
that wrestling. She's got that wrestling build where Loma has the Muay Thai build. The wrestling build gets you a little bit further, I think. Um, she can. Carla is an incredible wrestler. The wrestling took her all the way to the title, baby. Took her all the way to the title. And I think that it can again. And that's where we go with Tatiana Suarez. Like her wrestling, it's her wrestling, man.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, if you were to do Carla versus Loma, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious how that one goes. You know, like it's just a matter of.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be fun in both weight classes, but Carla, you know, she's interested in atom weight. She's been open about that, and
yeah. She's also getting up there in age and stuff.
yeah,
And I mean, atom weight isn't coming. It's not coming
no,
to the UFC. And I just don't think that they're going to do an atom weight division.
no, but
Unfortunately.
yeah. As for Loma, it kind of sucks because I think that you know, Ghost says not close to the top 15, but I think as close as
Yeah,
she can get, she'll end
agreed.
up. Yeah, she could end up losing out and then leaving the UFC and doing. We see great things from her at atom weight. Unfortunately, like that's kind of what you want for her because like you don't want to see somebody lose or do bad and get cut or anything, but it's just an unfair position for her to be. You want to be in the UFC, but is it the best for you? Not
Yeah.
always the case, you know. Like we've seen
Yeah.
many people leave and have much better
And do
careers.
very well. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, gotta believe in yourself, man. Gotta
They
believe in
said
yourself.
Loma said she can win the title in an interview, which is hilarious. I mean, yeah, like Drake said, you got to believe in yourself, more than anybody else. Fuck what everybody else says. Believe in yourself.
Yep. So I think we're pretty in agreement there on Loma, but nothing against her. Just a matter of
No,
fact.
dude, it's just
All right.
tough, man. Like I want her to do well. I want her to be ranked. I want her to climb up the rankings just because her Muay Thai is so great. It's gonna get really hard for her. It's gonna get really hard for her.
Yeah, and they've I think that the UFC knows that because of kind of this slow road that they've taken. Like
Yeah.
she ended up going against Angela Hill, who's actually one of the better matchups for her out of the top 15, one of the better ones, and
Yeah.
she still lost
Yeah.
pretty convincingly. You know,
That's
like
true.
that's the kind of all you need to look at, I think. So we'll see how it plays out, as they say. But anyway, let's get cracking. Open up the Twitter mailbag. We just got 2 senders today, but 4 questions in total, I believe. 4 tweets in total. 2 people, Ghost Phantom and Yusuf. Appreciate you guys, as always, trying to fit on in there. Let's see. Let's pull them up here. They're in a chain today. I didn't want to do separate tabs. So, starting off with our man, Ghost Phantom. Ah, yes, he's got a 2-parter.
So Ghost Phantom, we'll start with the top one. How come fighters from China don't get workarounds? Oh,
Sorry.
start over. How come fighters from China don't get workarounds for their fight schedule if their coaches can't make it for visa issues?
Because America.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Good to see you, Mr. Beckham. Saying, hey guys, what is up? Hope you're
Hello.
well. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man, where the UFC is not going out of their way for anybody but themselves.
Yeah, they don't go out of their way for anybody.
It's just
Unless
kind of
you're
the
like Conor McGregor or somebody like that.
right.
But other than that, they really don't care who you are.
And it's interesting with this kind of situation about, bringing all the coaches along and providing properly. I think a union would probably help that. But again, it just goes into the whole union cycle of, we don't even need to bother with that. But it's
Yeah.
you would think that there'd be that kind of accommodation, or at least stronger effort to make that happen, when it's pretty much creating some degree of unfairness. Different circumstances than
Yeah.
a fighter's used to, different support group.
Yeah.
And Go says he asks because Piotr Jan got a workaround when he fought Faber when his coaches couldn't make it. Like, it's
I think there's just
selective.
fighters. Yeah. This I don't necessarily think it's because they're Chinese. I think it just happened that way.
Yeah. And I mean, look at, I guess this is maybe an all right example, but yes, I don't know. Maybe it's not a great example, but Hamzat, the treatment he got from the UFC for like his COVID stuff and
Yeah.
flying him around and all that compared to
also
other
what we
people.
knew too. Like we don't know what they did for other fighters.
True.
We only know about Hamzat because Hamzat speaks. He tells his story more than others do. He talks a lot. He's out there.
He's smesh.
Yeah. He's out there to talk. If if you want to listen, he's there to talk.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know. Like I don't think that. I just don't think that it's because they're Chinese. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it's just bad circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is what we've been talking about for weeks now. They should have just did an event in China, and like things like this could have been solved.
Oh yeah.
They flew halfway across the world for this event for UFC 262.
Right. I think, now that I've kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I know we talked about it like ahead of 261, obviously, but the fact that China still has had events, but I remember now thinking back to when I talked to Xi Ming, which I know that was a couple months ago now, when we did that conversation. She said that, at this time, it was hard. People couldn't fly into China, but they could go out. So, assuming that was kind of the same situation, or it was at least still difficult, there have been events with fans in China, but international fighters not so much. So kind of like what Ryzen's been doing in Japan, right, where it's primarily domestic, a little bit just too risky in terms of everything else to bring people in. Not really the risk outweighs the reward kind of thing. So that could have been why that didn't come together, because that card made pretty solid sense to do in China. They had plenty of fighters on it. So is what it is, I suppose. And Rue chiming in here saying the sad part about UFC 261 is that on Weili's team got her whole team to the US. All the undercard fighters had none of their coaches. Right.
She was champ too.
That's what you get for being champ. Like it's a big sacrifice for not just Chinese fighters, but a lot of international fighters who have to.
International fighters in general.
Yeah, when it comes to pay, the expenses that it takes to do all that. That's why Yan Jiaonan has been coming out earlier, but even then, that's still very expensive for them. They obviously would prefer not to go too far if they don't have to. Aside from the experience of it, that's always nice, but it takes a toll. Toll in a lot of ways.
I really wonder, like, how much these fighters actually take home after all of these expenses that they have leading up to their fight. Like
it's not much. It's not that much, because I remember when I did speak to Xiaonan that it was like she's practically breaking even if she doesn't win.
That's terrible, man.
You know,
That's just terrible. Like, how does that make sense? Make it make sense.
yeah. It's see, that's where unions. You got get together, you guys. What are you doing?
Dude, Project Spearhead from Leslie Smith was the thing to do, just to get it started, at least to get a union started, at least. You might not like everything about Project Spearhead because it was the first, but at least you would have had something. At least there would have been a movement. At least there would have been a voice.
Yep. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. And Mr. Beckham.
There's not. We're a long way way from that.
Yeah. But, Mr. Beckham chiming in about the Botello fight, saying he was disappointed with Botello. Says Botello looks like she is regressing. We missed that one, man. We still got to go and catch up on it. I know we're slacking, but if that is the case, yeah, that's not great because we both did favor her. She did come into this fight not on short notice like her opponent and not overweight. So I'm very curious to see how this played out and split decision. So one judge at least thought she won despite the disappointment and regression feelings there. But yes, we'll have to get back to you on that one. So yeah, that was the flyweight fight. And then as for ghosts, excuse me, can I talk today? His second question, asking about what are DWCS Contender Series contracts like? Are they cheaper than regular contracts? Oh yeah, buddy. Like, I don't know the exact numbers.
I think they're
yes.
I think they're like 2,500 to win or something like that. It's like bad. They're literally there to get the golden ticket, and that's it.
I mean, that would be probably a little bit better than what I would think, because the last time I checked, which was sometime last year, I believe, sometime early last year when I was doing research for a project, the flat rate for fighters was around 12-12, 14-14 for like the lowest, the minimum.
Maybe that's what it was. I think maybe it was 14 to win.
Right. Yeah, 25. I was like, okay, that's better. That's better.
Maybe that's what it was. I knew there was like a 2,400 in there, but I think it was the total. I think it was the total.
Right. That's probably it. So 12-12 for they just get the minimum basic contracts.
Yeah, it's
most likely.
Bad. They're there for that Willy Wonka golden ticket, man. They're there for that UFC contract, and that's it. I mean, that's sad. Again, here we are, fucking loving the Contender Series. It's amazing, right? But then they don't get paid well. And if you're a loser, well, you get nothing almost.
Yeah. It is something. And this is an interesting thing, actually, that kind of circles back, Ghost, by pointing out, he says, doing Contender Series Asia is really cheap labor for them. So that comment right there ties into what we were just talking about. The fact that apparently, according to JHK, shout out to him, John Yun Ko, what he was hearing is that they're going to do Contender Series Asia in Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. Crazy.
What the fuck is that, man? You want to talk about the China, the workarounds and the visa issues and taking them out of their element and setting them up to not be as good as they could be? Like, Jesus. And then on top of it, the loss of money, like we just said. You want to talk about maybe not even breaking even if you're lucky. Which you won't be probably. So it's that blew me away when I saw that. I was like, wow, that completely takes away all the good things about it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. The cheapness.
They have that beautiful UFC PI that they made in China, and they're still not using it for anything really other than training.
Academy stuff, yeah.
The academy, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Um, like they are using it for something, obviously, and people are using it, but it's like it's you're doing the bare minimum. It seems like, you know.
Yeah.
So
Stamina, welcome. He's going to the gym. He's not going to be here for us. But he'll
subtle
catch
flex,
the replay.
subtle flex, literally.
It's all right, Stamina. It's all right, Stamina. And also Stamina. Thank you for loving lima beans. I didn't win the $500, but thank you for answering.
I have
Love you.
no idea what you're talking about, but I'll accept it. Approved.
There was a tweet. And I don't even know why I responded to it. But I guess I was bored for a minute. They said it said something like at a verified account and asked them if they like lima beans. So automatically, I automatically went with Stamina because that's my boy, you know.
Right, right.
So I was like, "Hey, do you like lima beans?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, Stamina. Okay."
That's so funny. All right, that was worth it. I didn't expect that. Well done. Oh boy, that ghost coming in here at the comment.
It's really sad to see that Asian fighters are only looked as money generators. I think it's not. Okay, I'll stop right there. It's not just Asian fighters. It's literally any fighter. It doesn't matter where they're from that are money generators. The UFC gives zero fucks about where they come from. They don't care. They do not care as long as they're bringing in the views, as long as they're bringing in those clicks. But then he goes on to say, look at the build-up Whaley got only about her numbers. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Like it sucks. It sucks for these fighters who put everything, everything into performing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I agree with Ghost as well about
I agree with Ghost. I do agree with Ghost.
spotlighting. Though I feel like it's highlighted with obviously, let's say Chinese fighters and Whaley, because even afterward, you know, Ari Emanuel talking during the public thing and
Ari Emanuel,
getting her name wrong. First
Ari
of all,
Emanuel is a goddamn fucking idiot. That dude, Lee Na, really? You don't know the champion, the former champion's name, who is
just spot.
the moneymaker in a massive country who with a huge following. You don't know her name. You get her name wrong.
Not even close either.
Dude, not even close. Like, not even close. He's a fucking idiot. That guy's stupid. Like, that shit really got me. Like, I was boiling.
That was pretty ridiculous. I mentioned that though because like during that he's talking about how well the fight did for China. Like that's a complete example of kind of what Ghost is saying. Like still, even after the fact where he completely disrespects her by not knowing who she is, that it's still just looked at that way. And you know, Ghost goes on to mention kind of the story aspects. What about her struggles, her fighting style? I guess it's okay for them to generate money, but they can't be individuals. Yep, it would seem so. And I appreciate you, sir, for the references to a story that I did with her. And you know, who knows? Maybe she'll be easier to talk to while she's not champion. I'll see if I can I can catch her again. Who knows? But yeah, it is sad. It definitely is sad. But that's the business that they're running, and I don't know. It's the new shiny thing still, right? The Chinese fighter. It's they're still breaking into that. Maybe it'll change at least a little bit once things settle in, but obviously they're not going to settle in too nicely if things start going in the opposite direction, even though I don't think that'll be the case. Whaley just kind of got caught. She'll stick around for sure. Xiaonan's still there. Like, they're still...
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. And even if they do go into China and do an event, it would still be massive. It would still be huge, even though Whaley's not champion.
Right. If you send him out there, it'll still deliver in all regards.
He'd be huge, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Yusuf says UFC moneymakers all lost. Whaley, Adesanya, McGregor this year. They all lost this year. Adesanya is still a champion, though. He just went up and lost.
Yeah. Yep. But still, he is right about that. And we're about to see another loss when Nate Diaz fights coming up here. There's another one for you. No reaction out of Steve. I was waiting for it. He's going to ignore that one. All right.
There is no Nick Diaz slander here.
Will not be tolerated.
Rose says, but we like Whaley because of her style and her personality and work ethic, not because she's from China.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, you're a reasonable person, though, Rue. That's the thing. We're reasonable people here. We like people for them being people, not the other stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
it makes like little. It doesn't matter to me where people are from. I like stories, no matter what they are. I like personal struggle. It shows how they've become better. Like I like the build-up story. I really do.
Yeah, and I will say that I do think, I guess for me a little bit, let's say the country like China specifically, for example, I do try to talk to as many Chinese fighters as I can. It does add a little bit to it for me, just because they haven't got their spotlight or shine yet as much as they could have. So like,
yeah,
from that area and the story of that part of things that is not as uncovered, right, as other places, that kind of adds a little element to it for me, but it's obviously not the main thing. Like,
yeah,
I'm curious about the specific people.
I mean, there's clearly like a favoritism when you go international. Brazil and Russia.
Yeah. Good ones. Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for checking out the stuff that I do. And speaking of Chinese fighters, shameless plug for I caught up with Lin Haixin. What was that? That was sometime last week. Everything's a blur right now, but she is awesome, you guys. She was really funny to talk to. That one will be probably dropping by Wednesday-ish. It is Monday right now, but yeah. The most recent Chinese fighter I caught up with was Lin Haixin at a one championship atomweight. Very interesting and fun stuff with her. So just had to throw in the shameless plug there. Oh, Andy, right there you go. I just told you, Ghost. Good timing there. Yeah, that is planning to drop that on Wednesday. Video's all done. I just need to write the story. Yep, former teammates with Wei Li. She is great, you guys. So that was really fun. Looking forward to that. She hadn't done an interview in a long time, so she was kind of nervous, but you wouldn't even know. She's funny. So
it's funny when fighters get nervous for interviews. We should be the ones that are nervous.
I mean, I am always nervous. Anxiety.
Joey Beltran told me, he was like, dude, I'm nervous right now, because I did his MMA Inc.
Right.
I was like, but we've met like in real life. Yeah. We've actually like talked and stuff. Like, what are you nervous about? All you're doing is showing your tattoos off. And he was like, I don't know. Like before we even were live, he was like, I don't know. It's just like it's a different type of interview. So I'm, I don't know what to expect from you. And I was like, dude, I just want you to talk about your tattoos. That's it. I'm not throwing some kind of curveball at you.
I think that just kind of means that they care about it a little bit, and it's
cool to hear, though. It really is cool to hear.
Yeah. So I think it's a complimentary thing. I get why we would think that, though. Like, oh, you got nothing to be nervous about. It's just we're just being friendly. Yeah.
I'm a normalized dude. I should be nervous talking to you. I mean, you're the one who's been entertaining me for years.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always funny how everybody's kind of different like that, and even another shameless plug, but I did end up catching up with Jessica Penne on Thursday, and it's funny just how she said the same thing, and like I've met her before too. We've met in person. I did that big story with her in 2019 about her depression and anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
And like even after being, having all the experiences she's had and having done like commentary or analyst stuff for CFFC now, just
Yeah.
totally in front of the camera, interviewing people herself, she
Right.
still feels that way when we don't do her own media stuff. It's kind of funny, but
It's weird. It's weird. It's cool though. I mean, it just they're humans. They're humans. They're just like
yeah.
us.
Yep, that is the best way to put it. So, all right, good stuff as always, Ghost, in the Twitter mailbag here, and
Yeah, thank you, Ghost.
yep,
Appreciate
thank you, sir. As we move on down to Yusuf, who is right below him, and I just very briefly glanced over his questions, so I don't really even remember or know what they are. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be good.
Ghost says people get nervous because it's important to them. Have you guys never not felt nervous when you're doing something important? Yeah, I feel nervous all the time, dude. I get nervous when I take a girl out on a date. I get like fucking sweaty palms and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like it's things like that. Like yeah, I get fucking nervous. I've been through some shit in my life, but I still get fucking nervous for things. And it's just a normal ass trait to have. It's fine. Like it's totally fine. You just can't break because of your nervousness. You can't let it break you. You can't let that anxiety break you.
Yeah, kind of just got to roll with it rather than let it take over.
Yeah.
So.
Because then that's when shit goes bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, to Yusuf's questions now. All right, we'll start with, can't fit them both on the screen. We'll start with this one.
Who in the top 15 at strawweight is championship caliber or potential to be champion? Okay, so let me pull up the rankings, and then we'll go down the list.
Yep. So, I mean, off the top of my head, absolutely. There are multiple, but how he's phrasing this, seeming maybe our best choices, top picks, or suppose you could say.
So Rose Namajunas is clearly champion.
Yes, that is true. But in the top 15, all right. Well, let's see, who caliber or potential to be champion.
Who hasn't been champion already?
No, he's not specifying that. But...
Because at the top you have Rose, who's the champion, Zhang Weili, who was the former champion, and Joanna at number 2, who was the champion. So, and then number 4 is Carla Esparza, who was the champion.
Yeah. Well, let's see, man. So I think I'm going to break this into 2 answers, because to take out people who haven't been champions and then champions, right? Separate it for the not people who haven't had the title yet. But in terms of who has potential to be champion, right? Who most likely, my number 1 pick to most likely be champion out of the top 15 that's already been champion is still Weili. I still think Weili very, very well could recapture the title.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's just
she has all the tools. She has everything, all the tools, everything. She's a well put together fighter. She can be a champion again. I think that she probably does beat Rose in the second fight if they were to fight again.
Right, exactly. So that's for the champions. Out of non-champions, though, that's where it gets a little bit different. And
so at number 3, you have Yan Zhao.
Right, which I think, no surprise, that's probably who I'm picking. That's my girl. You all know I've been driving the Zhao Nan train for days. The Fury train. I just love Yan Zhao Nan. I think that once she gets put in the bigger and bigger spots, she's only going to shine brighter. And very similar styles to Weili, and she's getting better and better. And physically, like we said, what was it, a week or 2 ago? Like, just looked incredible against Claudia. And if she continues to work on the holes in her game and more defensive grappling. I think than anything that should be enough to get her there because of how she matches up with some of the people at the top and specifically right in front of her. Right. Yeah, I really like Zhao Nan and that's obviously the easy answer because she is right behind everybody else in terms of contender. But you're asking
I
the
think
question, man. I'm answering you. So
yeah, I
it is
think
what
it's
it
just
is.
the way that she lost too. Like she lost in the first minute of the fight.
Right.
What I mean, by a head kick. Like she wouldn't let. I don't. She's would not let that. That wouldn't happen again to her.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Great point by Chuck here, saying Zhao Nan was forced to take a back seat to Wei Li, unfortunately, because she was the first Chinese female fighter in UFC history. That is
It
very
is
true.
true.
So yeah, Wei Li just kind of came in. Very interesting how that kind of played out, huh? Where
Yeah.
the performance is in terms of debuts, I think Zhao Nan's was actually, if you were to compare them, was actually better than Wei Li's. The Danielle Taylor fight wasn't super. It wasn't her best performance by any means. Let's put it that way, as opposed to what Zhao Nan's. So, and then Rue is on the same boat there with Wei Li.
Yeah. I think that we will all say Whaley, as far as the champions who have already been a champion. I think we would all say Whaley would be the one to become a champion again. But for the non the non
To
champions
never been champion, yeah.
to never have been a champion, I'm gonna go. There's two, but there's kind of an asterisk next to one for Mackenzie Dern. I have an asterisk next to hers. So there's things that she needs to do to work on to become a champion. Her jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. The best. The best in female grappling and grappling period. She's one of the best MMA fighters on the ground. But her haymakers and the way she goes in and her
Yeah.
lack of getting the takedown really hinders her to become a champion. Because once she's doing it to non-champions right now. But once she actually gets to the champion, how far is that going to take her? Like she really needs to improve, and she has been improving. I think. Yusuf says Tatiana Suarez. Yes, Tatiana Suarez is every bit of a champion. She has everything to be a champion. It's just her health. Her health. That's it.
Man.
With Tatiana Suarez, it's literally her health.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught her interview today she did with James Lynch and Kendrick Johnson on their podcast, but she first of all sounds like if she comes back it'll be at flyweight.
Yeah.
But the way she was talking was sounding like she might not even come back. Like she has no idea why her back continues to be a problem and stuff. Like that does not sound like it's looking very good right now. So, that's the only reason I'm starting to really exclude her from the conversation, as much as I hate to do that, but
yeah,
it's just not getting better.
So would you, that's disappointing. I know I caught that interview. It's really disappointing, but would you say that Marina Rodriguez is up there?
She definitely went through my mind once I moved to non-champions, but I mean, yes, she totally is, especially from a striking standpoint, 1,000,000%. It's just the if she can shore up that grappling defense. We've said it pretty much her whole UFC career is that's all you got to work on. That is all you got to work on. You are fine if you get that down. You are going all the way probably, and she has looked slowly better and better, but.
Yeah.
And I think that some of the matchups above her, definitely with the strikers, like let's say Rosa, Wei Li, Zhao Nan, those are ones that she can definitely, those are good ones for her. And the likelihood of them trying to make those grapple fests, not very good. Even, Joanna in there, Joanna's not going to try and take it down. She very well could end up getting by without having incredible takedown defense, but that's only the thing that holds her back, because I didn't mention Carla because we already saw Carla beat her because of the exploitation of that hole in her game. So I absolutely adore Marina, of course, and I think that she has all the potential too, and just based off of her striking alone. But it's just a matter of keeping it on the feet. If she can do that, then yeah, she's definitely a very good pick, I think, for this question and category.
Yep, so. I agree. That's why I mentioned her. That's why I asked that question. I think that she's phenomenal fighter. She has that asterisk, kind of like they're like
very true. Opposite. They're opposites.
Putting those two together.
Never lose. You would never lose. No. that would. Oh my god, that's a super fighter.
Crazy, yeah, wild. That would be wild. And Rue asks, "Are you guys going to be going over Rodriguez and Watterson?" Yes, we will be talking about them.
Yes, we are going to get to that fight, even though it is not official yet, because
which is wild. Like, what is going? What?
It's visa stuff. Marina is still in
Brazil,
and that's wild. The problem. That's the problem with them trying to do this on short notice. Is like UFC. Like
why
this
wouldn't they put Magny and Jeff Neal as the main event? That's
Neal versus Neal.
Yeah, that's a perfectly fine fight to put as the main event.
I don't know. It's pretty boneheaded stuff, but we'll get more into that later. But yeah, so Rue also mentioning here, problem with Marina is when she gets to Weili and Rose, where they are good everywhere, right? Like kind of what we're saying. So
yeah, I mean that's going to be the problem with Durham too.
Yeah, and yes, Helwani said logistical issues, but I can confirm that it is visa stuff. That was been the holdup for the last couple of days now, because visa stuff is not always the quickest. So fight might not even happen, but we'll still talk about it because that is the plan. So
wild.
Just I think it's more ridiculous on the UFC's part than anything, but
it is. What it is. It's 100% on the UFC. But we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
You still asked another question.
Yeah, very, very kind with the compliments starting out this second part of it.
Oh, yeah. He said you guys know WMMA better than anyone. Does Weili get pieced up by Rose if the fight went 5 rounds? And what makes Weili dangerous? And then he put #Team Weili. Even though
Steve already unintentionally answered this question. Steve said, he very well does or could beat Rose in a rematch. And I'm in that same party, as we were saying last week, like, yes, we only got like 78 seconds of action between the two, but Weili was winning that 77 seconds right until she took the head kick. It's like she was looking very good. She was sharp, on point, came out strong.
Yeah,
very, very early, and yes, it was very, very minimal amount of time, but nothing from that amount of time indicated to me that she can't hang in there for a full 5 if she doesn't get caught by that head kick, which was just a chef's kiss perfection, right? So yeah, I don't think she would get pieced up by any means. We've seen her go hard 5 against Joanna. I think she can do it again still with Rose, despite how that fight landed. And Rue's bringing the stats at us. You gotta love it. Statistician over here. Weili only missed 2 shots
in 78 seconds. That's amazing.
Pretty solid, output for that amount of time. To only miss 2. So
literally couldn't ask for anything better than that from her. It's just she got hit with a head kick.
Aside from not getting hit, yeah.
I mean, that happens to people sometimes in fighting.
Yep, that it does. So I absolutely think that, she wouldn't get pieced up. I'd pick her to win the rematch still. What makes Whaley dangerous? I mean, I think you know this, Yusuf. You just
Everything.
want you just want us to, hype her up. Which do we still need to do that at this point?
Dude, we've been doing that for 2 years now.
Yeah, she's very dangerous, pretty much everywhere. So, yep, that is that. So, all right, we will move on to his third question, I believe. Which, all right, I like it.
The biggest force, Tatiana Suarez with Adesanya
Oh
striking.
boy, fantasy stuff.
I love I love this kind of stuff from Yusuf. Shevchenko with Ngannou power, or Nunez with Holloway cardio. Nunez already has
Okay,
good cardio.
we'll start with that one. Yeah, I don't think that she doesn't even need that, obviously. So we're gonna take that one out. Nuna, the last one, I think is pretty out of the question. Tatiana with
Could you imagine
Adesanya's striking.
Shevchenko with Ngannou power though?
I mean, that's the winner because Shevchenko is already perfect. That's the proper choice because
Yeah,
that's adding something that isn't even necessary to the flawless fighter, and then she's only going to be more dangerous. That's the winner. I don't even want to think. I don't even need to think about Suarez and Adesanya. That's a good one too, but the correct answer.
that's a number two. That's a number
Yeah,
two. But I think Shevchenko with Ngannou powers would be. I mean, there's no
it's
getting past
insanity.
that. There would be
No,
no getting past that at all.
I mean in that case she could literally fight anybody.
Yeah,
She has the power of a heavyweight. She could fight whoever she wants.
she can fight any man that she wants. What do you mean?
Shevchenko versus Gabby. Make it happen.
Gabby, Gabby would get wrecked, and it would be great.
Yeah, that'd be something to see.
I think that Shevchenko would wreck her right now. Shit.
Yeah, probably. Very likely. Waiting to see how Craig Jones does first. All right, second part he's got here. Should Yep, you got it.
Should Grasso be matched up with Calvillo as everyone else is matched up in rankings, and how does it play out? I think we talked about this, didn't we? I think we kind of talked about this fight already. Like, I think it would be a solid fight. It would be good. It would be fun. I don't think that Calvillo would want that fight. Grasso would take it for sure. Calvillo doesn't want that heat though, and that's a lot of that's great boxing coming your way, and I'm not sure that she wants that.
Well, if everybody's matched up, like he's saying, which when I think about it, they are. Everybody's pretty.
You are, yeah.
pretty like that is then automatically best case fight to go with for Calvillo because well we remember apparently but according to Miranda Maverick that that Calvillo turned down Maverick, which more understandable, somebody who was unranked at the time.
Yeah, unranked.
Right. And then a very very dangerous opponent. But yeah, Grasso, I mean that's stylistically, yes, that's a very tough fight for her, but in terms of who you're going to take a fight against, who you should take a fight against, if it's the only person and this person is in the top 10, yeah, I mean, yeah, you take that. So yeah, I'm down for that. I was thinking something about, or something like maybe Grasso versus, Maya or Arujo at the time of that, but obviously things have changed since then, which I'm fine with how they have been sorted for the most part.
Yeah.
And how does it play out though? Yeah, I think that I'm pretty on the Grasso train after that last one. I wasn't quite yet after the flyweight debut, but people continue to underappreciate her ground game for whatever reason, and that's not even the best part of her game. So Calvillo for sure would want to take it there and would be wise to, and I think she'd have success for sure, but it wouldn't be as easy as maybe it would have if these two were matched at strawweight. And then on the feet, I don't think Calvillo has too much for Grasso.
Nope.
Just at all.
Calvillo, I mean, Grasso's a beast on the feet, man. She's a monster.
Yeah.
But like you said, her on the ground, she was fine too.
Yep. Gotta put some respect on that overall game of Alexa Grasso, everybody.
She's slowly climbing up. I would like to see her get another fight soon, though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this one, right? It's got to be this one, so make it happen. Make it happen, UFC.
Yeah, I mean that's a 5 versus a 10. Makes sense. It's fine. Yeah.
Why not? So, all right. That is it for the mailbag today, everybody. Thank you so much to Yusuf and Ghost Phantom, our
Thank you.
general reoccurring viewers. Appreciate you guys greatly. Always good stuff in or out of the mailbag, I will say. So, with that in mind, we move on to the news, which is a very light load of news today. Just 2 bits here. And I don't know if I put this first one on the thing, the lineup for you, Steve, but here we are. We talked about Pearl Gonzalez last week, and what do you know? What do you know?
Rachel Ostovich signs with BKFC, and she is expected to face Paige Van Zant in her debut.
That reaction is perfect. I mean,
it's kind of becoming.
That's a joke, right? It's a joke at this point.
I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Here's the thing.
But I mean, she's not good. Like she's not that wasn't her game to begin with. Like she's not really a striker, you know. So it's and going into bare knuckle, like
it's like all 3 of these MMA fighters, Paige, Pearl, and Rachel, are all better grapplers than they are strikers, and that's why, if it wasn't already completely clear what the BKFC was doing before this, it's just blatant
it started
now.
with the signing of Paige, and then Pearl, and then a few days later we get Rachel. Who's next?
I don't even know, but
Valerie Loretta.
Right. That's the thing for me though about this is you said it best. Like she's not a good striker, but she's not even that great of an MMA fighter overall at this point, right? Like she got finished in her last fight. Yeah. Like that's what I really don't like about the BKFC. On top of the fact that they're clearly just using sex appeal to sell their product here when the fighters aren't that good. And that's my overall problem with the BKFC in general, is that they're banking off of fighters who they're not the best. They're not the best boxers, or they're not going to stick around. They're old people, or obviously people who, and I'm not old people, but people who couldn't make it in MMA or at the end of their careers in MMA came back, that kind of thing, and are just kind of doing it to do it. And yeah, good for you to all make your money and all that, but we don't see the absolute best, most talented fighters in the BKFC, and that's why they're in the BKFC, and that just doesn't do it for me. I'd be much more interested in it if these were, like let's say fucking
Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, Calvin Kattar versus another top featherweight. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, like you throw in Calvin.
But there's a reason they're not doing that.
Throw in Calvin Kattar and Cody Garbrandt, dude. That's a boxing fight.
Jesus, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a great fight. I'm all in. I throw all my chips in on that one. I'm watching for sure. I'll buy that pay-per-view. I ain't buying Rachel Ostovich and Paige Van Zant. I ain't buying that shit. I'll watch. I'm gonna find a way to watch. Believe that. But I ain't paying for it. This is a pay-per-view. Right. I ain't paying. And I know majority of people will not be paying for that.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing too, is like you can own this strategy, I guess, right? This business strategy that they have, it has a shelf life. After so many of these Ostoviches and Pages, people you bring in and match them up, people catch on and be like, all right, yeah, you're just bringing in attractive failed fighters.
Yeah.
Like, are their fights that great? Not really. Are they, when they're not even the best strikers out there? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's great that they're getting paid. Let me reiterate that, but from an interest standpoint,
All for
like,
fighters getting paid any way that they can. I don't give a fuck how they're getting paid. All for it. But
it's just weird to me that like you could go after better people. You could do that. You could try and be more legit than you are. It's kind of like accepting, I don't want to say the bottom of the barrel, but you know, you're not even the circus kind of, but a weird mix of like pretending to be legit because that's how Feldman and them always sell it. Like it's the fastest growing combat sport, all that nonsense. Like, dude, I'm not gonna, when I know what I'm looking at here, I'm not buying that bullshit you're selling. And I'm sure a lot of other people aren't either, especially after they see the fights.
Feldman can sell ice to an Eskimo. He's a snake oil salesman. That dude.
I mean, he apparently signed the Hulk dude, which isn't even a real person, right?
Right. Like it's that guy. Fuck that guy. But Rachel Ostovich in BKFC, it's just why? Like why? Other than the marketability from them.
Yeah, I mean,
At least
like,
Paige Van Zandt can kind of throw hands.
people made fun of their MMA fight. We like, you remember that? People were making fun of that, and now we're gonna do this in something even more laughable. Like it's crazy. It's crazy to me, but I don't know.
So Ruth said Amanda Hebes said she was interested in BKFC, and that Steve might like that. Steve might like that. I think you're right.
I'd be more interested in that because she's a better fighter than both of them combined.
Yeah, put all three of them together. Put Amanda Hebes against Beck Rawlings. Give me that fight.
No,
if you're gonna do some kind of bare knuckle fight with Hebes, don't give her Paige Van Zandt. Don't give her Rachel Ostovich. Do not do that. Do not do that. Because I mean, Hebes at least has power. At least knows how to throw a punch the right way. You know, I'm literally scared for Rachel Ostovich's hands, dude. Like, I don't know that she can really throw a punch the right way, bare knuckle. Like, I don't know that she can do that. I didn't see it with 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah, what leads you to believe without any gloves? So yeah, we can we'll move on from that because that's good fun.
We kind of talked about it a little bit too long, but I mean,
I know.
that's because it's a bunch of fuckery, you know?
Yeah, fuckery will get us sometimes. You guys just can't help it. So,
dude, we don't know Ghost Phantom. We don't know BKFC's numbers. They don't tell us.
where was that event? Was that in Florida?
That one was in Florida, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that commission puts them out either.
Florida
So
Commission doesn't put the numbers out now, but I don't think BKFC puts out their numbers anyway.
yeah, in general,
I've literally never even looked. To be honest, I've never even looked.
I remember
events, but I mean, I'm not that interested, I guess, in their numbers.
I remember hearing that like what was it? Artem and Pauly did like 300-ish, which is good for that. That's good for that actually. That's pretty good for that.
I mean, there was a lot of build up to that fight too.
Right. Yeah. I still can't fucking believe that happened.
I know, pretty wild. But there was a lot of build up to it, so I'm not surprised that gave them 300,000 views a lot of
That
boxing.
might even be generous. I don't remember.
I think a lot of boxing fans went and watched it because of Paulie Malignaggi, and then Artem. You know, he has a following too.
Yeah, a following.
A cult.
Yes, he does.
He's like
And
a cult.
then Paulie got robbed, so that was funny. I actually watched that one, and yeah,
Yeah.
I did not agree with that decision. But who gives a fuck? So here we go. All right, one championship news, and this is very interesting, Steve. I'm very curious to hear what you think about this bit of news that we got
Well,
here for one reason in particular.
I mean, I have a question about this.
Okay.
So Ritu and MB win. They're gonna fight at 128 at a catch weight. But isn't Ritu fighting in the tournament?
Yes, she is.
So are these taped already? Like the other last week, or what's going? What is this? What is this?
Yeah.
What is this chat tree? What is going on here?
You want to talk about more fuckery, do you? It's yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, but
Dude. Okay, so I didn't ask that question because I didn't know the answer, but I'm like 99.9999% positive this fight already went down.
probably. I mean, because what One Empower is at the end of this month,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is very interesting. And then, like in the the virtual the post fight media thing when Chatri was talking, he made it sound like if Ritu loses or lost, that she loses her spot and like B slides in instead. Which okay, so first of all, that's all pretty unfair to Meng Bo to have to even worry about her opponent changing because they took a fucking another fight. Like it's kind of insane. But I would be pretty stunned if Ritu did not beat B just stylistically. I think B's lost a couple in a row.
Her wrestling is really good. I mean, we've talked about her.
Yeah.
It's
It's just bizarre though. It's bizarre to make this fight for I mean, obviously she accepted it. Ritu did, and I guess is just gambling her position away, or gambled it, like Steve said. Very well could have happened already, and probably would be in her best interest to have fought already.
Yeah, I literally don't know like what is going on. Like I'm not like quite sure what is going on with this, but I have this like feeling that these fights already happened.
Very possible. And Rue, that's good luck with that one. I don't. I mean, it's possible because of the ridiculousness of the double camps, I suppose, that Ritu's doing. But I'd be pretty surprised if B wins this. But yeah, that fight that's a fight. Ritu's got another fight, so that's happening. And then, as you see there, Ayaka Mura's back, which is awesome. Ayaka Mura is very good. And that her last loss, which I believe was her last fight against Tiffany Teo, I didn't really like the stoppage on that one. It was a good fight. She was doing very well up until that point, and taking on Bastos. I'm excited to see Ayaka Mura back. She is very good as well. So yeah, we got those fights at one dangle, which I believe that it is in. They're gonna do no. They can't do it in India right now. That would not be a good idea. India is having some trouble with
India's
pandemic stuff. So
India's very bad right now.
Yeah,
there's no way that they did that. They're going into India and doing an event.
No, but the theme of this is clearly the Indian fighters with Bowler and then Ritu and Gary.
Yeah.
And then his opponent there as well, but. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, if this event took place in India,
That
That
yeah,
that would be that would be insane, and that would be cool, I guess, for India. But also, India wouldn't
terrible timing.
be able to have fans go in there right now because they're like one of the worst places in the world at this point. And
It's
it's
just got to be the
even
name.
worse.
Yeah, there. Well, it says Singapore, so
It's just Singapore.
I scroll right up and it says. So that shows you the level of research we do sometimes
Oh,
around here.
we just look at fight cards,
Yep,
and
yep.
that's it.
There it is.
Oh, Singapore. This fight already happened. This fight card already happened. Dangle would have been filmed in Singapore. The government there give one very tight window to hold events COVID, so they film multiple events in one day.
Yeah, that is how they do it, and that's kind of why the UFC didn't end up in Singapore, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Because yeah, Singapore does not play around. So crazy stuff. One's making it work, I guess. So
They are. They're just, yeah, they are.
but anyway, that is the news, you guys. Just a couple things, housekeeping a little bit. As you know, Rachel Ostovich news is always something, and then weirdness with the Ritu fights. But anyway, we have two events this weekend. PFL kicking things off Thursday night. I know Steve's excited. I'm excited for at least one of these fights. But you know, they've been good shows. These first two, I think. Clay Collard looked tremendous against Anthony Pettis. We've seen like all the champions get upset. Plenty of fucking upsets in PFL,
dude.
actually. So
Crazy. All the champions have lost.
yeah, so we'll see if the trend continues here. Everybody except for Rory.
McDonald.
Rory looked good. That's the one. So, all right. Let's kick it off with the first fight of the night.
Elena Kalisnik versus Taylor Berlano. As you can see there, Kalisnik on the left, Gordado on the right. It's a fun fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about
Gordado is kind of hard to gauge, though.
Yeah, because you know I mean both of them. You know, we've seen still very little of both of them, and what we have seen from Kalisnik, especially recently in her two Invicta fights, which was Felicia and then Pam, I think was the other one. Those two losses, like no shame in those, but and I do remember actually thinking she looked pretty all right against Felicia in this when it was on the feet, but I don't know. It's interesting, you know, there's just not a lot of lightweights out there. And that's kind of how the tournament was crafted, by putting together the options at hand. And Taylor Gordado, she was in the bantamweight Phoenix Rising, wasn't she? And
right.
You know, she didn't look too bad there. But that's bantamweight, so another Sarah Kaufman situation where somebody is going up 2 weight classes, and I mean we have 3 weight classes, which we'll get to later. But it's weird. It's weird kind of to gauge how some of these people will do because of inexperience, along with big weight shifts. You know, but Kalisnik is definitely a bigger gal, and interesting to see that the odds here actually favor Gordado. And I'm gonna say I do believe that is probably because from what we've seen out of Kalisnik, well, I guess, and Gordado, this is pretty much a striker grappler matchup. You know, it's Kalisnik's striking versus Gordado, and if she can get things to the ground, she should be pretty fine. Even though she's going to be outsized, but we've seen many a time in the past that good grappling can negate size, so that could be something that could be the key factor in this fight, which it probably will be, honestly. So with that in mind,
I agree with that. I think that Kalisnik should probably win this fight just because she's all around the better fighter, but we don't know like what Gordado is going to bring at 155.
right? Yeah. And I'm not sure that Kalisnik has fought actually at lightweight, but of course she's fought at featherweight multiple times and just has not been very active, as you see there. Jeez, that fight was 2 years ago. Holy, almost 3 years ago. That's insane to me. That Felicia fight. So I mean, in terms of inactivity and whatnot, then the tenant loss was not bad for Guardado, but yeah, this is a tough one to call actually. But I mean, I do, if you're gonna go by the weight and the experience at the weight, higher weight, anyways. Kalisnik is definitely a good pick, but it's a little bit coin flippy for me. This is take your pick here.
So take your pick.
I know I'm gonna go, and in a tournament format as well. I'm gonna take Guardado. I'm gonna go with the grappler. I'm gonna believe in the grappling. I'm gonna go against you. She's favored, which I think is a little bit surprising. Maybe that would be flipped, but it's hard to know. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks around these two ladies. But yeah, I'm gonna take Guardado by. I think she'll find a submission. I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say second round. So what is that? 5 points. Second round submission will be 5 points for Guardado.
Yeah.
And what would be her official first win? Could you imagine? Let's get crazy.
It'd be wild. I'm going Kalisnik just because of her striking. She should win. She should be able to keep her away and strike with her, and I mean she'll win the overall striking fight. But if Berlano takes her down, then obviously it might be a problem. So I'm picking Kalisnik just because, I guess. Just because.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, they don't have arm reach, but height, obviously the length is slightly, I believe, going to be in her favor, even though we don't have the reach there, but her height, she's good height, and just the bigger lady overall. So yeah, that is the first fight kicking off the lightweight, and then we move to the fight that I am most looking forward to, and it is once again striker versus grappler. It is a fight we should have gotten years ago.
Yeah.
But we're getting it now, and I am all for it, Steve.
So Cindy Benoit is returning finally against Caitlin Young. Should be a good fight. Should have seen this a while ago.
Invicta
yeah.
8 or something, like early on. Really early on. Nearly 10 years ago they were supposed to fight. So
it's crazy. Again, this is a tough one because I don't know what Cindy's going to bring to this fight. We know what Caitlin Young is going to bring.
Yep, striking Viking for a reason, man.
Right.
And,
I don't know what Cindy Benoit we're going to get in this fight.
Well, we're going to get a Cindy Dandois that is not nearly as good of a striker as Caitlin Young. That's just a fact.
True.
Cindy Dandois, notorious for being an abysmal striker, just to put it bluntly.
Maybe she should go to BKFC.
Hey, you know what wouldn't surprise me is if she loses, and that happens. That would not at all shock me, considering how the fuck it's gone over there. But anyway, first of all, she's got Caitlin Young in front of her, and in terms of size, these are both women who have fought at 135 and 145, mostly 145. I would assume Caitlin's probably fought 145 a little bit more than Cindy, but either way, they're both, I think, they enjoy being at 145 a bit more than, definitely 135, but at least Caitlin has. But 155 in this one, I think that should be pretty similarly sized. But this just completely is a striker versus grappler matchup, as we said. And Caitlin Young isn't like bad on the ground or anything. It's just Cindy's strength is grappling. That's practically all she's good at, unless she totally surprises us and then has just insanely super improved striking here. No.
Not against Caitlin Young. That's
right.
That's not going to happen.
Right. That would.
She does not want to get into a striking war against Caitlin Young. It would be trouble for very quickly. It would end up bad.
Yeah, it would not be good. And you know, I think that having prepared for each other once before, and then Caitlin having been her matchmaker and just studied Cindy and kind of the way that she doesn't come in all too craftily, but you know, just having had so much time to look at this opponent, and Caitlin Young is very smart, obviously. You know, I'm sure those who know about her know how smart she is, having been the matchmaker and just her experience in combat sports. A true OG, true pioneer. Not to say that Cindy isn't, but I think Caitlin kind of fits that a little bit better despite the experience. Yeah, I think that Cindy's going to have to come in, and despite me going with the grappler in this last matchup, I think that, you know, we know what we're getting out of Caitlin Young, which is always some pretty good violence on the feet. And with Cindy's level or lack thereof of striking, I think it's going to be bad for her, and she could very well eat some head kicks, and it could be night. So I expect Caitlin Young to kind of shine in this spot, and I'm very happy for both of them to get a spot like this. I wish they would be on like the main card, because they are two total veterans that, you know, deserve some more love, I think, in terms of that area. But I think this is Caitlin Young's fight to lose. Like, she's gonna have no problem whatsoever on the feet, but obviously it gets tricky on the ground. She can hang there, but it's not the easiest path to victory, of course. So I think she'll find the knockout. She's just that much better, and
I think that's pretty clear to me that Caitlin Young gets a knockout.
She should.
She should. Yeah. So. It just depends on the round. You think she gets the 6 points? First round knockout, huh?
Yep, I think so. I think Cindy will run in and get caught, because she's got to. She's got to close the distance, and she's not great at that. You know, like, I think that she is tailor made to take some very hard shots from Caitlin, unless something's changed. Like I said, since her last fight, which was, you know, over a year ago, and against lesser competition, as you can see.
Yeah, I don't think much has changed.
She hasn't been fighting the best opponents lately.
No, she hasn't, and she is who she is at this point.
Right.
I mean, how old is she? She's 36 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is who she is.
Yep. Yeah, you know what you're getting right at this point.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. But I do think that it's going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, that's what we can hope for. So, are you taking the 6 as well?
Oh, yeah.
Striking Viking?
It's either 6 or 5, for sure. She definitely gets the knockout in round 1 or 2.
Yeah. Not to pull any favorites, but man, it'd be a real feel-good story for Caitlin Young to win $1 million. That'd be really cool.
Could you imagine if she just came back after being out for so long, doing the matchmaking thing, and then total resurgence of her career, goes into PFL, fucking dominates a little bit, except she's going to get better opponents.
Yeah.
Further down the line. That's what
that's what is. Yeah. On paper, you know, Cindy, her and Cindy are the most experienced MMA fighters in here, so.
Experience, sure, but like where they're at in MMA, Caitlin Young is so much better.
Right. Yeah. And has fought, you know, much more legit people recently, as we mentioned, but
right.
That's the one I want to see. I want to see Young versus Kayla, because, you know, we want to see Kaufman versus Kayla, so this is the next best thing.
So hold on. Rue is saying some things in chat right now.
I see him.
I'm going to bring him up because he said something at the very end. I watched the first one, and then I watched a little bit of the second one. I want to watch the third one. But so he says, I thought the chat helps to determine the winners in between the line. It's between the line, right?
Between the links.
Between the links, yeah, links. How did Drake not win his second appearance? And then he goes on to say, if you look at the chat, everyone wanted Drake to win 2 weeks ago. And then he goes on to say, I'm starting to think BTL is rigged for Jed, no matter how bad his points are. So Drake and I kind of talked, I think last week about this, or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't even remember when we talked about it. I hadn't watched a lot. I watched some, maybe not a whole thing, but of course I watched my boy when he told me. He sent me the link and everything. And I was like, all right, I'm there.
Well, the Kana army was strong.
Yeah. So I watched, and then I was thinking to myself, dude, Drake's going to fucking eat this dude up because Drake ain't no fool and Jed is a dork. So then Drake wins, and I'm like, all right, of course that was going to happen. Of course, Drake knows MMA. Like he's smart, you know. So then the second time goes on, and fucking Jed wins, right? And I'm like, how did this happen? How did I didn't watch the third one though, so I don't even know the outcome. But I'm assuming with Rue's little thing here that you lost the third one. Did you lose the third one?
Yeah, I totally choked at the end though. Like, so I'm fully admit that I totally I bombed on it hard. But the second one, no, I agree that I definitely should have won the second one. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you should have won.
So
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I definitely watched the end of it. I watched the ending.
Right.
The last, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, right. I think.
To see the crowning, yeah.
Yeah, to see the end. And I was like, wait, Drake lost? What? What is going on here? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah. So, I mean, to peel back the curtain a bit, even though it's not really a secret, you guys, like, the first 4 rounds, they don't really matter. You know, like, it's going to be 2-2 always because the final round, we go in, you need to fill the time of the show. Like, if you could be a short show if you just were being fully, you know. So it really comes down to the last part, and I think that Casey and Mike, they wanted to do the three-peat. They wanted to do the trilogy. So if I would have won twice in a row against Jed, I would have fought somebody else. So they wanted to do the third one, and then I fucked myself on the third one. So I'll say it's my fault, but okay. Yeah, you Kana Army didn't show up for me at all last week. Ghost, I see you saying they were strong for the second time. I got nobody last week. It was terrible. So, but no, the chat does not decide, Rue. It doesn't decide, no. I know, but man, the support means so much to you guys because it was very good in those first 2. Last week I had nobody. It was kind of sad, but
maybe that's why you were shook.
Yeah, maybe that's why I was totally fucked up at the end, but yeah, going from such support to nothing, yeah, it was jarring, but no, it's good fun. Yeah, chat does not decide. It comes down to Casey, or we had Alex K. Lee. He jumped on for the last one too, which was kind of funny. You know, the evil Alex K. Lee, if you remember from that's the media call out from UFC. But it's okay. Don't be sorry, man. It is what it is. I'm sorry for letting y'all down and losing to Jed twice. It hurts, even though that second one, that was not a loss. So we'll see if they haven't hit me up yet for this week, but they're doing the Royal Rumble for episode 50, which is going to be pretty sick. I'm actually looking forward to that, whether I'm on it or not. So it's going to be like people coming in and you do the 1 round. So this one actually sounds like I'll do it legit where, you know, it's not going to be down to the last one because there will be so many people, right? So that'll be fun. But yeah. So we got quite off track there, Rue. Look what you did. Talking about my BTL performances. Yeah.
I brought it up. We could have just skimmed right past it, but
I know. That was good though. Good to cover all the bases. So appreciate you guys though for the support in the episodes you did watch. Don't go watch the last one because I am quite embarrassed about my bombing. So it's funny actually. In that one, we agreed like on everything too. So it was very
agreed.
Yeah, it was very different from the first 2. Like,
so wait. You guys agreed?
Yeah, I think that he got his vaccine shot, so he was all out of place. He was all loopy.
No.
He was making sense for once.
Yeah. So what happened was he he knew that he would get beat if he kept disagreeing with you. So he went with the agreeing with you.
Opposite, yeah.
And then he brought the heat at the end. Is that what happened?
Not even that. I totally just choked. I just choked myself because it was the one where you watched the first episode.
Yes.
So we did the what is the fighter thinking thing,
Right.
and I got who did I have the first time? Kevin Holland, and I got Connor. And I don't know. I wanted to be like super aggressive, but I just totally fucked it up. I know, dude. I know, right? I let everybody down. I had the easiest guy, right? And I totally blew it. Adam Sandler gif. It was brutal.
Wow.
It was brutal.
You should watch it, Ghost Phantom. Watch it.
Yeah.
Wait. So, off topic breaking Diaz versus Edwards moved to June 12th. Diaz has. What?
Of course. What is that card? What is the June 12th one?
I don't even fucking know, dude. June 12th.
That's 260. That would just be the next one. That's the Adesanya and
So that's in Arizona?
yeah, that beefs that one up. I'm gonna be at that one, I think. Probably. So
I want to go to that.
yeah.
A month later? I can actually go, I think.
Yeah.
What? UFC 262, right?
262 is the next one, yeah.
What I meant, 263. Oops.
Interesting though that whatever this injury is, it's not serious enough for them to completely be unknown about it.
So yeah, to throw it off.
Rebook it instantly, yeah.
So that's with Adesanya and Vittori, and then Moreno and Figueiredo 2. Damian Maya and Bilal Muhammad is on that card.
That's a good looking card.
Paul Craig can suck it. Drew Dover and Riddle is on that card as well.
Fun one.
Man, you add Lauren Murphy and Calderwood on that.
It's a sneaky good one.
You add Diaz and Leon Edwards to that pay-per-view. That's got to knock off Paul Craig, right? And Jamal Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, that shouldn't even be on pay-per-view anyway. I don't think.
No, I mean when you got Murphy and Calderwood, they're ranked fighters, like give some respect there. It's a title eliminator.
They're like all the way down on Tapology. They're all the way down.
Probably not finalized yet, but
no, it's too far out.
All right. Breaking news occurred in Hawaii. Whaley gets fresh to death there, even though she has. According to, I love that he says according to Hawaii, like we haven't seen her post it herself. Well done, well done, sir.
I saw that somebody said, I don't know who it was because I mean, I've been pretty fucked lately. But still like recovering. That she went with the haircut because of Rose's hair.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, I laughed.
Yeah, that was. I knew right when I saw that. I was like, everybody's gonna say that. I was like, everyone's gonna say that.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, let's finish up this tournament.
Dude,
Moving on.
Feels like we haven't talked about the tournament.
I know. Yeah, we can just leave it. It's Cindy and Caitlin. That's the one. So, no, but Larissa Pacheco and Ulija. Well, we got to get it right for stamina. Ulija. I don't know how to say the last name.
Pajic.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go with that. Nice neck tattoo to talk about there, Steve.
Yeah, I love that nice little. I don't even know what she has there, but she's a winner.
Oh, Chuck knows what's up. Whaley just copying the superior Chinese champ, Zhang Jingnan. Even though Jingnan doesn't have that hairstyle anymore, so nice try, buddy. She's got like the I don't even know what the long. It's not even a mohawk, but she shaves the sides and does the thing. I don't even know it. It's the Jingnan. We'll just call it that. But she used to have that one. Yes, the superior Chinese champ. I like that. The first Chinese champ. Some respect on Panda always. But yeah, Pacheco versus Bajic. Pacheco heavily favored here, as we can see, minus 400
That's wild.
to 3. I mean, this is another thing where I don't even need to look at the past opponents here who have all they're
Yeah,
all just no fights.
yeah,
But
they are.
Larissa Pacheco,
He's only 3-0 himself.
yeah, Pacheco has the experience. We remember her from the UFC when she was actually at bantamweight, and fought some very good people there. But she actually worked her way to the finals last season, right? And that was her last fight against Kayla Harrison in their rematch after beating Sarah Kaufman, which that surprised us all. And it's still crazy to think that Pacheco is actually only 26 because she's got a pretty good amount of experience for her age. And
Yeah.
I admittedly I have not seen Julija fight before.
Have you seen what she looks like though? That's all that matters in this
in,
fight.
in this fight.
They are bringing her in because of what she looks like, and
They're bringing her in because they need bodies, Steve. They
to,
need anybody.
they're trying to bank on her winning, a fighter from like Montenegro.
I mean, that should honestly. I mean, again, I don't know her style or really anything about her, but you would think just from the careers that they have had, Pacheco should probably be a bigger underdog than minus 400. I'd say maybe 6. Let's go. Let's
Favorite?
leave it.
It should be a bigger favorite.
Yeah. Did I say underdog? No, my bad.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, whether I know of Julija or not, I think Pacheco is probably the safe one here, obviously. And I'm excited to see how she looks, right? This is a very, very big test.
She should win this fight.
Considering all things. So, yeah, Pacheco, I'm going to say she'll finish her in the first round. TKO. Ground and pound. She's getting the 6. Everybody's getting the 6. I'm feeling generous.
You're giving out 6 this week. Yeah, I don't think that it's probably a decision. I mean, I don't know a hell of a lot about Elija. I just know that she's gorgeous and she has a sick ass neck tattoo. But yeah, Pacheco, I mean, she's been in there with Kayla Harrison a couple of times. Like, and I mean,
she didn't get finished either time, did she?
Maybe the first one.
Last one was decision.
I don't think the.
Nope, no, they were both decisions. Yeah.
Okay.
She survived.
Yeah. Wow. Pacheco should win this, I guess, but I'm going Pacheco decision.
Fair. Totally fair. And Rue asking an interesting question. What are the payouts like for the PFL if they don't win $1 million? So, I cannot confirm or deny this, but I've seen people who are more business savvy with MMA and stuff say that the $1 million payout is the grand total if they win all their fights.
All of them.
Is that the case?
I think so, yeah.
So then that would be, what, 3? What's the math on that? How many did they have? 3? 3 fights to win it all? Or 4? 3?
Is it 4?
3 or 4. If it was 4, then what? It would be 250 for each.
So it's their first fight. There's a second fight, and then there's a fight in October, right? And then December. So it's 4.
So it should be 4, which would be then 250 for each fight.
Yep.
If that is how they do it. Have you heard that too? That it is? Okay.
I have.
Okay.
Who said
Paul Gift, maybe one of those guys. John Nash.
Nash. I think it's Nash. Yep. Nash is actually the one when you want to know about MMA like payouts and stuff like that. Nash is the one that is very incredibly business savvy. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to MMA payouts and stuff. What is his is it John L. Nash or something like that on Twitter?
I think he's Hey Not the Face, or is that somebody else?
Hey, not the face. Is he?
I think that's his handle.
Hold on.
I know somebody has that.
Yeah, you're right. John S. Nash. John S. Nash. Hey, not the face. Hey at Hey HEY not the face on Twitter. Here's what he looks like. You guys, how am I not following him still? Dude, this.
You unfollowed me a couple weeks ago, dude. Maybe it's your Twitter.
I know. I don't understand. Like, anyway, there you go. Follow you. That's him. Oh, scrolled up. There you go. That's him. If you guys want to know about MMA payouts and stuff, he's the guy to talk to, or to
follow all that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Just win them all. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the smart way to do a tournament, I guess.
Well, it's funny because I remember seeing that when I think he mentioned that like before the first card because things were starting up, and comparing it to Bellator, how Bellator, they get the $1 million on top of what they're paid already.
Right.
Which makes more sense since they don't have seasons, they're going just all the time, so you can't really fuck with them that way, so it makes a little more sense. So the Bellator fighters get more, but still that's good no matter who you are. So
unless if you're like this year, unless you're a champion who loses in the first round, that's
right.
Bad.
Which happened to about everybody.
Who is like 3? I think 3.
I think everybody but Ray Cooper. He's the only one that didn't.
Cooper's the only one, yeah.
Guys, that's savage.
Palmer, Schultz,
yeah.
And then who's the third one?
I don't remember.
Crazy hair guy, like the.
I don't know. I'm blanking on him.
Yeah, me too. He fought last week, I think.
Oh, Sorty? Was it Emiliano Sorty?
Yes. Yep.
Crazy hair. He did have some funny hair, huh?
Yeah.
I know. I was like, what is happening here? I don't remember him having that hairstyle. But anyway, going to take us forever to get through this tournament. So we have 2 fights left.
I know, we keep going off like with the tournament.
I know. It's a lot to get into. But I am looking forward to this fight, actually. Jenna Fabian and Laura Sanchez, Steve. Let's get the picture up here.
Welcome, Mike. He says, Valentina almost killed Jessica, and I walk out of the cage a load of bullshit.
Sure. I don't know what he's trying to tell us, but yes, on the first part, the I part.
She did almost kill Jessica. You're right.
It's Jessica, Andrade, and I. So she just doesn't like the Jessicas, but good to have you here, Mike. Appreciate any and all comments, even though
she's Jessica haters. Valentina.
Yeah, what you gonna do? But Laura Sanchez, Jenna Fabian. I know you like some Jenna Fabian, Steve. Fabioso.
I do. I
out
really,
of New Zealand.
I really do like Jenna Fabian a lot.
And she's with not Syndicate, CSA, I believe. Yeah, which is very solid. Jen. Rue, good story, Mike. You love it. It's getting people who come in randomly like that. Always fun. But Laura Sanchez making her second professional bout second professional bout right after her debut, which took place. When was that one? A year and 3 months ago. Hard to find fights. She's had trouble finding fights because, a legitimate
because she's big.
featherweight, as you can
Yeah.
see there,
Yeah.
6 feet tall. A little bit Megan Anderson-ish there, of course, but just not Australian, fighting out of Wisconsin. Yeah, and now taking on a pretty darn good striker in Jenna Fabian. And, you know, from what we've seen out of both of them, I think that Sanchez will probably look to strike for the most part. I haven't seen a whole lot of her. I've seen like a fight or two, but obviously not a lot of pro experience to go off of, or super recent, but you know, did have that LFA one right there. It's I think that the odds are pretty good on this. You know, there's a lot to learn about both of them, but we know more about Fabian. We've seen her against, you know, she was in the last tournament, right? Took on Charnevsky, you know, Dalziel.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and that was kind of a surprise. I remember that.
She should have lost.
Yeah, so I think that this might be another case of experience being the thing, because despite the fact that you know, Jenna does just have 3 MMA fights, she does have that background in was it Muay Thai or kickboxing, some striking art, right? So I think she's just going to be a little bit more refined in those areas, but it could be interesting if it goes to the ground, as it generally can be, especially in these lightweight fights, which is kind of been the most intriguing part of at least the last tournament. So yeah, for me, I'm just going to take the person that we've seen a bit more and know a little bit more about, which is Jenna Fabian, despite the big size advantages, or, you know, length advantages in particular. Length will be in favor of Sanchez. Not sure what her actual arm reach is, but surely it's going to be close to Jenna Fabian's, which is pretty darn long, 74. But yeah, I'll take Fabian. I don't feel good about 6 points in this one. Sorry, Jenna, but I do think you will still get the win. I will give you a UD in this one.
Yeah, I think that she finishes the fight fairly easily.
Oh, okay.
Her striking is phenomenal. She's really good striker. She should finish the fight. Round 2.
All right. 5 points for Jenna Fabian from Steve. Still good. We'll take it. All right. So then that moves us to, what is this? The co-main event of the evening. The fighter that everybody wants to see.
Yep. Kayla Harrison versus Marina Rice. Kayla Harrison, the monster in the tournament. The unbeatable Kayla Harrison.
The former champ, or I guess still the champ, you could say, since she has not lost.
Yeah, I think you can call her the champ and it would be okay.
Good Lord, look at those odds.
Yeah, I looked at it the other day and, yep, 1,200. Minus 1,200.
Yep, that is totally justifiable. Because as I alluded to earlier, Mariana Moraes is a former flyweight. This woman has fought at 125 pounds.
Crazy, dude. Crazy to even think that she fought that low, and now she's fighting at 155.
She fought Porto, which was, or Mello. I remember one of those fights. She had when she was in Invicta. She fought at flyweight and has somehow managed to balloon up to 155 since then. And here we are. Now she gets a spot at $1 million, but she's taking on the monster among women, Kayla, who is good Lord, this should be pretty brutal.
It's not going to be a good fight for Moraes. Kayla's gonna come out. Kayla's gonna come out heavy, dude. She's gonna, man. I mean,
you want to talk about 6 points getting handed out? Here you go.
Yeah.
Kayla by whatever she wants. I don't think there's any need to break this down. It's just she's very good at judo. She's That's all I need to say.
Great at judo. She's the best at judo.
She's the best at judo. She is 30 pounds heavier than Mariana Moraes at her optimal weight division. This fight should not have. Moraes shouldn't be in the tournament, despite having actually had lightweight fights before this, which is still crazy to me. You don't fucking do
I
this.
think that she shouldn't be fighting Kayla Harrison in the first round. I guess, I don't know. It's okay that she's in. It's a lot of weight, but it's okay that she's in the tournament as long as she's a healthy 155. You know, like she's not just a balloon.
Right. Which remains to be seen, but
right. Yeah. But
taking on Kayla?
I don't think that she should have been matched up with Kayla Harrison in the first fight.
Like, just having looked at all these matchups that we just looked at, though, like, she is significantly outsized in terms of, you look at her height, and, her reach is actually longer than Kayla's, which is kind of weird, but I guess Kayla doesn't have that long of arms, but 5'4", 155 compared to, I don't think anybody else was below 5'6". I don't think. From what we just looked at, I closed the tabs, but
so far not.
Like, it's
5'4" short.
Interesting.
5'4" short. 5'4" and 155.
Yeah. Like,
could you imagine, like, who's 5'4"?
That's shorter than Joanna.
Yeah, who's 5'4"? Jessica and Josh?
No, Jessica Andrade is like 5'1".
5'4".
Yeah, like Randa.
Tracy Cortez,
yeah. Like these fighters.
Yeah, Tracy Cortez is 5'4", right? And could you imagine if she
Whaley,
fought
155?
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's absurd. So, Ghost is asking the real question here.
Incredibly fast. Have you seen Kayla Harrison fight? Like, she's a monster, dude. Within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll go 1 minute 46 seconds.
I'll take 125. I'll be quicker. We'll see. So that's either way, 6 points. Judo Kayla coming right up, served on a silver, I guess a golden platter. She's coming back for another belt. So that, my friends, is PFL 2021.
So wait, I don't even know what the main event is for this event.
Verdum's fight. Because we get the heavyweight classes together.
That's why Kayla's not. That's why Kayla's not the main event, because of Verdum. That fucker Verdum.
That fucker Verdum. Yep. Oh, Vi Cavallo, what you gonna do? What we're gonna do, though, you guys, is move on to the UFC, because we do have UFC fights.
It took a long time to get through the PFL.
Sure did. We had a lot going on there, but hey, it is what it is. So, UFC Vegas 26, 1 fight for sure, hopefully 2 fights, but we're going to talk about both of them anyway. So, kicking things off is the return, Steve. She's back.
Yeah, Amanda Hebes versus Angela Hill. This should be a really fun fight. Hebes is entertaining. Angela Hill is entertaining. Couple of good strikers. Hebes, if she's able to take it to the ground, could be trouble for Hill, but Hill likes to stay away from her opponents, though. So can she do that against Hebes? We'll see.
I think so. And you mentioned it right there. Being able to get Hill to the ground, taking it there. That's generally a good path to go against her. And if you just look at, even
Yeah.
as good as Angela Hill can continue to look, and looks, whether it's in victory or defeat, she generally does get taken down at least every fight. Like even against Ashley Yoder in that rematch, Ashley was able to get her down. Not have very much success, but she got her down, which is saying enough to the point that I don't know if Angela Hill's takedown defense is going to improve anymore at this point. You know, we forget that she is actually a, older. She's up there. I think she's like 37-ish, right? Is the age is on here 36. So
36, yeah.
despite the improvements she continues to make, which is, I think, just kind of continually honing her striking skills, I don't know if the rest of her game is gonna catch up at any point, which would be nice, and especially at these late of stages and against this competition. So yeah, I do think that Hebes will get her to the ground, and when Hebes is on top of you, easy to forget. She is just insanely strong on top. Like her control, her top control is very, very good. As we look back at that Randa fight, who we've mentioned a couple times on the show today. But on the feet, that's where it's most interesting, obviously, to see how Angie, I guess more so how Hebus can hang in there with Angie, who is technically going to be the better striker in terms of power. Probably fairly close. Might lean towards Hebus a bit because you forget that she's a pretty good striker as well. But so it is a compelling matchup. But I think just in terms of overall skill set, Hebus is the better fighter. She's more dangerous in terms of finishing ability. I don't think that's much of a debate. Like we said, man, this is in my opinion, I think the perfect rebound fight in terms of a stylistic matchup.
Yeah.
That's also a notable name. That's ranked. Like this was perfect for them to give Hebus here, coming off of that devastating double knockout loss to Marina Rodriguez. Double knockout as in she got knocked out twice, pretty much. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about Hebus getting the win here. Angela's going to have to really fight at distance, I think, to have her best hopes here, but that's just going to be tough over the course of 3 rounds. And so I like Hebus finding, I think, a submission, honestly, man. I think she'll come back really strong. I think the knockout will be good for her. I've seen her do little to no media, like probably pretty focused, locked in for this. So I think she'll get it done.
And she has a man now, so.
Oh, does she? Well, that'll keep you busy. So we'll see how that plays out. So, yeah, Hebus, I'm going to say second round submission. I think she'll maybe find a neck or something, but I just think overall her skill set is better here.
Yeah, so. I agree. Hebus is the better fighter. Angela Hill is kind of like serviceable. You know, she does very well against good opponents. She's never out of fights.
Right.
We've seen it many times with her recently against Michelle Watterson, who we'll be talking about later. But Hebus just brings the whole package than what Angela Hill has. She's a good striker, but also she's on the ground. She's very, very good. She's very good on the ground. And it's like forgotten because we don't really see it all that often with her.
And especially when everybody kind of has that recency, the memory of, seeing how the last fight went, like totally clouds the success before that, like, so it's, yeah. Hebus is very talented, and Yusuf asking, does she have the skills to be the champ? She does have the skills. She does have the skills. Will she be champ? It's just so hard to say in this division unless you're really proven, like the fighters we talked about earlier when you asked us about that. But I think the skill set wise,
I'm with Drake. Yeah. I think we agree that she has the skill set. Like I literally said a minute ago, Hebus, we forget she's pretty damn good on the ground, but then her striking is very good as well. So she's a whole package fighter. It's just when she's gonna get up to the better fighters in the division. How's she gonna do against a Whaley? How's she gonna do against Joanna? How's she gonna do against Carla? How's she gonna do against even Mackenzie again?
Right. And I'm glad you pointed that one out, because I was about to say that fight with Mackenzie was, I think that really showed the fight IQ, that she has got a pretty good fight IQ from that performance, where she stuck to the game plan of not going to the ground, even though she's very good on the ground herself, but just picked her apart, looked phenomenal in that fight. And, it's not hard to look better than Mackenzie Dern in the striking department, but the fact that she stuck to that game plan and didn't deviate, try to take it to the ground, get silly or anything like that, that makes that performance really how great that it was. And then, Ghost, pointing out good stuff from the PVZ fight,
Yeah, it's true. Hebes hip throws Hill and does the same belly down armbar she did against Paige Van Zandt.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I can see that happening. It's just Angela kind of controls where the fight goes. So a little bit better than Paige Van Zandt. So
right.
I don't know if it's going to come as easily as the Paige Van Zandt one did. It could.
It has time though. Yeah.
Yeah, it could, but I don't know if it does.
Has to throw that in, even though I hate both fighters. Love you, Ghost. It's very interesting about Hebes, because I think it's pretty fair to say that Marina, or fighters like Marina, are kind of just, at this point, Hebes is kryptonite until she shows us otherwise.
Right.
That's just a tough out for her. So
Angela Holden's not that kryptonite.
No, she has some semblances of like Marina, right? But obviously a little bit more movement oriented and doesn't hit as hard. Not many people do hit as hard as Marina. So, and just the length, like Angela Hill. If we look at the stats here, but they're the exact same height. Hebes actually has the reach advantage, where as somebody with the frame of Marina is just, winning in all those categories. So
yeah,
we will see. But I think it's the perfect rebound. I've said that since the beginning. So
yeah,
I'm sticking to it.
I agree with you. As much as I like Angela Hill, it's not a good matchup for her. I don't think I think it'll be a fun fight. Angela Hill makes all of her fights fun. As does Hebes. So I think it'll be a good fight. But Hebes wins by decision. Angela Hill she doesn't get finished,
Unless you're Randa. That's the only person who's finished her.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rose, but that was like right at the beginning of her career.
Right. So
very beginning.
Angela Hill just doesn't get finished, man. Like, can Hebes do it? Sure, but I don't think that she will.
Taking the safe pick.
Well, yeah, I am taking the safe pick, but I mean it's kind of a smart pick.
Yeah, I hear you. I believe in the Hebe. I believe in the Hebe. And yes, Brew. So pretty much educated strikers. Any educated striker with power, Joanna, shout on Rose Whaley. Right. Pretty much, those are tough matchups for Hebes. Yeah. I would absolutely favor all of them. Yeah,
all of them. Literally all of them over Hebes.
And that's why I answered Yusuf's question the way that I did, because she does have the skill set, but man, when you look at her kryptonites a bit, that type of fighter above her, there's just a lot of them, like 4, that's a lot of problem styles for you. Usually you would see maybe 1 or 2, but, and you didn't even include Marina in these 4, so she's still up there too. It's a lot. And yeah, another good point by Ghost. They're tough matchups for anybody. That's how good these fighters at strawweight are, man. Like,
well, they're also at the very top too. I mean, right. former champion, number 3 fighter. in the rankings. Hebes
Future
isn't.
champion.
Hebes isn't. Hebes isn't there yet.
Right. So strawweight is good. But yep. Steve and I on the rebound train. Amanda Hebes getting back in the win column here. All right. Now we move on to man, I have trouble getting excited because we don't know yet, but I
Yeah,
really like it. If it happens, I'm very excited because
yeah, it's wild. Like we're a, we're days away,
days away.
and we don't know. And we don't know. Is it the main event? Is it even happening? Like crazy.
We will see. But what it would be is this fight.
Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson. Um, the main event, as far as we know, I mean, if it happens, then it's the main event. If it doesn't happen, then we don't get to see them fight. This sucks for both fighters. Like, Waterson is there, I was just chilling and, doing her thing, ready for a fight, while Marina is probably stressing right now hard.
Yeah, that's a shitty position for her to where she's got to worry about, yes, a lighter weight cut because this is going to be at 120, presumably 125 because of the short notice. But then the fact that I got to get there. I got to take this lengthy plane ride from Brazil, manage my weight on very short notice for that kind of situation. Super not ideal. And, big cojones for both of them to
Yeah.
accept these circumstances because they really should not have to put up with this kind of nonsense. Especially during a pandemic, which is kind of what makes it harder. But
it's exactly what makes it harder. She's coming from Brazil, and they shouldn't have been put in. Marina shouldn't have been put in this position to begin with. If they were going to put Waterson in the main event, then they should have found somebody that was in the United States already.
Right.
Like, say, Carlos Esparza.
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have, hey, why the hell not rebook Hebes versus Waterson? That fight was supposed to happen instead of Hebes versus Rodriguez.
But then that would have kind of screwed over Angela Hill.
Right, man.
I feel like she's a favorite, but for the UFC, she's doing commentating stuff now, and all that. So I don't think they would do that to her necessarily. But you're right. Like, there were other options.
Claudia Ghost points out, yeah, that's one.
Fighters that are in the United States wouldn't have to deal with visa issues at all. This is a massive country. Tell me they can't find somebody here in the United States to fight Michelle Waterson rather than a Marina Rodriguez who is in Brazil. And now look where we're at. Just a couple of days away from the fights.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I always want to see Marina Rodriguez fight, but let's be fair. Let's be fair.
Fair.
So,
this isn't fair for Marina at all.
No. So, but hey, I think it's kind of one of those things where, when an opportunity knocks, I fuck it and I'll jump on it.
But also, the visa issue. Like, you ain't going nowhere without getting your visa cleared.
Yeah.
We've seen this throughout the pandemic. Remember, all those fighters from Russia and stuff weren't able to come. They had to go fight in Abu Dhabi because of visa issues. I think even Hamzat had difficulties at one point, right? In one of his fights. Yeah. Ghost Phantom says, or even Mackenzie Dern. She called out Waterson at the start of the year. Mackenzie's here. Maybe she isn't. Maybe she went home to Brazil. I don't know. Maybe she went home. She would have the same exact issue as Marina, though.
Right. Even, I'm pretty sure Xiaonan is in at the
She is.
PI right now.
Because
She's in Vegas right now.
because of Carlos Esparza, right? I
She
mean, there's
came out early
options.
again.
There's options. But really would Xiaonan be like, all right, I'm going to take this fight instead of the Carlos Esparza fight? I don't think so.
Right. No, I mean, yeah. If she didn't have a fight booked, then yeah.
Yes. And the same goes for Carlos Esparza. I just threw the name out there because I mean, same weight class or whatever.
Yeah, and good options, obviously. So
good options, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, it's
Mackenzie is from Arizona, but
she does have a place in Brazil.
she speaks Brazilian. Remember,
speaking a little Portuguese, as Mike Goldberg would say. But anyway, for this fight itself, yeah, I mean,
it's a good fight.
I do like it. I'm very excited for the idea of it, because that is what it still is. It's just an
idea.
It's an idea.
When we're 5 days away.
I know, but ultimately, I think that this is pretty much another. We kind of generally have at least one striker versus grappler matchup every week. That seems like at least one we could say is that, and I don't think that this is the best example of one. Obviously, the definition of one this week, and just maybe in most cases, is probably Caitlin versus Cindy Dandois. That is totally what that is. But here, the strengths of them, for both of them. Marina, the striker, undeniably. Michelle is she's very well-rounded, but I mean, she's a very great grappler as well. And, having talked about already all these top 5 or, fighters in that range that are great strikers, very powerful at what they do, as Rue was pointing out, like, this fight feels a little bit like we could see a flashback to Joanna versus Watterson, which was, for the most part, a pretty good beatdown by Joanna. And yes, there were some moments where Watterson gave her some scares, like more so in the latter half of the round of the fight, which I think could happen again. And obviously, Marina is not as good defensively with her grappling as Joanna is, but it's gonna be interesting, and I think that she is well aware of that being the area she just consistently needs to work on. And when I caught up with her after that Hebes win, actually, she did tell me that, like, yeah, no, I plan on going to the ground with her in that first round, and she has been working on things. So it's just one of those things, though, where these fights start on the feet. Who's more dangerous on the feet? Marina Rodriguez is proven that she is a goddamn savage on the feet. So I think it'll be fun. Watterson is very tough. Needs to get it to the ground for her best chances at winning. I think that she'll probably land some good strikes, but it's not going to be nearly enough volume or effectiveness to really give Marina anything to worry about. Assuming, and this is all, of course, assuming, well, one, that it happens, but secondly, that the lack of preparation and being up 10 pounds doesn't change things too drastically. Cardio could come into play. I mean, I know that Marina's very disciplined and really kind of stays in shape all the time. I imagine Watterson probably does for the most part too. So I don't think there will be anything to worry about this. But still, when you have just zero camp, like nothing. This is just going in to fight somebody. Doesn't even matter who. Like, let's just give me the name. It makes things a lot more compelling and interesting. So I think that the odds are about right here. Maybe even a little bit. I might have it even a little bit tighter, a little bit closer. Given Marina the minus 190 to the plus 160, I think Marina definitely should be favored. But this fight's gonna be good, assuming it happens again. That's a great matchup. It gives each fighter something to really worry about and work on their weak points a little bit. But I just think the momentum Marina has gained, despite only being one win, that was a huge win in the way that she did it. It'll carry over no matter what. She's just kind of one of those focused athletes, I think. And of course, a big spot for Watterson as well on another short notice main event
Yep.
is what it would be. So, and it's weird too because the more I think about it, the ridiculousness of the situation, I'm gonna assume that this actually isn't gonna be 5 rounds. I'm gonna call that right now. This would be a main event that's 3 rounds because of the wackiness of it, like it's so short notice that they've made fights where somebody's switched opponents and then they dropped it to 3, right? So I could see this not even being 5, which would suck, but it'd be better for them, obviously.
That's why I'm saying they should just put the Neils on the 5 round.
Yeah, the Neils, Neil versus Neil. I know, why not? I mean, if you want to do this fight this badly,
it would be good for a co-main. It would be good for co-main,
right? But it's just like the whole thing is unnecessary. Like 2 top 10 fighters, they have their spots. They don't really need to do this. Like, it's great for us as fans and getting a replacement, right? But
yeah.
It's very unnecessary for each of them, like it's so weird. This whole thing is so weird.
It helps you throw Watterson a lot, for sure, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the potential to launch up farther. So.
Yep. 6, I think Marina's 6. Yep, Marina's number 6, and Watterson's not number 9.
Right. So all that in mind, I just really like Marina Rodriguez, obviously, and I think that we've seen the best of Michelle Watterson at, I was going to say 115 specifically, but at just in her career at 105 and 115, and I think that this type of matchup and the fighters above her, we've kind of seen her ceiling and as far as she can go, and I think that this is a winnable fight for her, but it's going to kind of stop after that. But with that in mind, the similarities that we've kind of attributed to Marina as well as the people above at sitting atop the strawweight division, it's just too much. So Marina for me, I think in a very fun back and forth fight, 3 rounds or 5 rounds, I think it'll be I'm going to say a split. I think it'll be that close, a split decision for Marina. I'm looking forward to it, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, Michelle Watterson is always in the fight.
Right.
Crazy, like how good she is, and she's steadfast. Like she keeps getting older, obviously, but like her fights stay the same.
That last fight was a banger. That shit was good.
Yeah, it was, man, entertaining. So I think this one can be not equally as entertaining because, I mean,
better opponent.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. But Marina can come with it too.
And you got to think she'll probably hit even harder too with more weight behind it. So, all right, which way you leaning? What you got?
Well, I'm going Marina.
Yeah.
Does she get the finish?
That's the question.
Yeah.
I can see it, but
I can see it too, but I don't think that she does. Yeah. Maybe if it's 5 rounds, she does, but if it's 3, I don't think she does.
Yeah. And that's kind of a big question mark about it, is because if Marina Rodriguez, if she wins alone, just no matter how, great, that's a great spot, really pushes her up. If she goes out there, finishes on short notice like this, then it opens up the entire can, the can that's already open, that is strawweight, but like to the possibilities where Rue points out, he says at flyweight, which because of short notice we've addressed this, but he says, could Whaley then get the winner of this fight if Joanna doesn't happen? Assuming Whaley, Joanna rematch, he's pointing out. But if Marina goes out there, finishes, wins just at all, like I said, but finishes, she's then totally in that spot for one of those 2 fighters, at least. She's one fight away from a title shot with a win. And a big, spectacular win.
Speaking of Joanna, did you guys see her
Yes.
gap? Like on her shin?
That was not what I expected to see today. But
Or Joanna?
I know because of that, obviously, now Joanna's gonna have to. I mean, I'm sure that'll heal up relatively quickly, even though it was pretty gnarly looking. But it's somewhat of a setback. So Joanna versus Whaley too. I don't know about that, but either way,
I mean, I wanted to see that fight again anyway. Since the first time, it was the fight of the year.
right.
So,
And I would love to see Marina versus either of them. And I did think about Marina versus Joanna after Marina beat Hebes, but Joanna's just in such a weird spot in terms of what she kind of wants to do right now. So, but either way, a Marina win and a spectacular win. I mean, you got to give her. She's got to fight either Whaley, Joanna, or Dern, right? It's got to be one of them because Carla Jounon winner gets a title shot, no doubt about it.
I would like to see the Joanna fight for Marina. I wanted that fight anyway, like before this even came up.
Right.
I wanted Marina to fight Joanna, but I don't think that Joanna wants that.
Right. That's why she would, I think, if Marina wins her first main event here and does so in great fashion, like maybe that'll bring. You'd have to do, let's say, Joanna Marina as a co-main at some place with fans, because remember, Joanna wants the fans. She wants the fans,
so it would have to be a pay-per-view.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We will see. Watterson could spoil all that, and then we know we're not seeing a Watterson-Joanna rematch, because that would probably not go very differently, but is what it is. That's UFC Vegas 26, everybody. So that's how we do it. Rock and roll. 2 fights, 1 fight for sure. Goodness. Hopefully we got to know by tomorrow, right? Like how long can they wait? That's the question we will leave here, Steve, before we wrap things up. How long can they wait? Because if you do remember, I will point this out. For UFC 244, Darren Till wasn't even in New York until Thursday?
Yeah. No, he was having visa issues. He could not get over here. Didn't think that he was even going to make it.
Right.
I remember thinking like, Darren Till's not gonna fight this card, and then all of a sudden Thursday comes around and there he is, and then that weigh-ins, there he is.
Yeah.
So,
but like it's
the same kind of scenario with Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Watterson. How late? Wednesday. I give him Wednesday, dude.
Especially because it's main event. And you gotta sell that spot. And yeah, I think Wednesday's perfect because that's when like media day officially starts. So then you got to get your commercials out, all this shit. When you're actually selling the event to the public, you got to have a main event. Wednesday, it's got to be the day.
It has to be. It has to be by Wednesday. Like, they got to have people working on this visa issue thing nonstop. Calling, making phone calls. Hey, let's go. Rapido.
There you go. And I think that's how we should leave it. So hopefully we get it, you guys. And hopefully you enjoyed another 2.5 hours with Steve and I. We are here at the end of the road.
Dude, we're going like 2.5 hours.
This was a small show, too. We really... We're out of control. We're out of control. Hope you guys enjoy it. So, giving you plenty of content to digest and talk about. So, all right. Don't forget to follow us, like, share, and subscribe. What did I miss?
Yusuf. Joanna is the Covington and Division Ducks opponents. It's pretty funny. I don't know if she's necessarily ducking opponents. I think she's waiting it out. And again, she didn't want to fight without fans. That was her thing. I don't know, like, if she really meant it, if she really meant it, but she was holding true to that.
Yeah.
Here we are with fans again, and it's time. It's time.
Once she gets that first offer for a show with a crowd, we'll see how she reacts then. That'll be the real kicker. So.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Follow us, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't, then what are you doing? At Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MMA, at The Scrap News, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. Steve, MMA Inks, when can we expect them? You teased us real good last week. What you got coming?
So, again, I'm working with an organization, a promotion, with their PR department. Quite a bit of a time difference between us, so
spoiler alert.
kind of waiting for things to settle down where they're at, and then
you got a new website too.
New website. I have a new website, and there's a new article out. It's the StocktonSlap209.com. The article is called Nick Diaz versus, literally, opponents for Nick Diaz if he comes back. I felt like that was a perfect article to kick off the Stockton Slap. And there will be more articles coming. Not necessarily all Stockton fighter things, but MMA in general, fighting in general. Just the Stockton Slap, it goes with me. It's, I'm a Stockton boy, and kind of goes.
It fits. And more great artwork from Mr. Dave Fretz, by the way.
Yes, and he did my header. I did my own artwork for the actual article. I actually did my own freaking. Let me see if I can. There it is, right there.
Nice. I like it. I'm not surprised you're here, motherfuckers. Oh, that's perfect. That's good. I like that. Yes, check that out, everybody. And
I've had views, a lot of views, and like people talking and stuff. So I haven't written for a while. So
that's why
it's got my juices going again.
Yes,
crazy.
Love to see it. Love to see it. As for myself, you guys, always got plenty in the tank, I guess you could say, in the backlog. As I mentioned earlier, Lynn Haitian, caught up with her last week. That was getting ready to drop on mymanews.com. Just today, released that chat I had with Elizabeth Rodriguez, great prospect out of Mexico. Lobo Gym. Talked about the fun times that she has with Irene Aldana and Alexa Grasso down there. She's getting ready to fight actually on, Friday the 7th. Luke's Fight League down in Mexico. Her second fight. Checked out that story. Went from being a professional cyclist to an MMA fighter. So pretty unique jump in careers. That is out now. See it on my Twitter, mymanews.com. YouTube, all that stuff. And then also have the chat with Jessica Penne planning to come out tomorrow. The big one. What are you teasing for me?
Alimale, dude.
Alimale, that is out now as well. Yes, Alimale. The victory and defeat. Dropped that story last week at some point since we were last on, right? Alimale. Excellent stuff with her. 40 minutes on the video portion, and then story as well. And there's actually more to that coming. More of that coming because I did 10 stupid questions with her, which I've been doing with a couple fighters, which is always fun.
That's
And
fun
that
because
will,
of Illinois.
yeah, she was a good one for that for sure. I think I might release that tomorrow. I was gonna wait for like a gap between that video and the other ones, but that is coming as well with Elena. Jessica Penne, as I said, looking to probably drop that tomorrow. Always a great time with Jessica. She is, I appreciate her time so much because she's somebody who doesn't do media stuff really at all anymore, as you've noticed. Like, she just doesn't do it anymore. So the fact that she still gives me her time and, you know, it means a lot to me. So good stuff from here, good stuff from her, and should be a good story coming out with that one. So Penne, Rodriguez, McFarlane, Lin Haitian. And then I even caught up with Shinju Eclair today. I forgot about that. She's fantastic. Shinju Nozawa Eclair, as you'll remember from Ryzen, flyweight prospect who hasn't fought in a couple of years because of injuries, and then the pandemic's kind of put her in a rough spot now. But that one is coming out too. That was very fun. She is great. So yeah, all that stuff. I believe Miami News for all of that. So yes, that is what we got, and plenty more surely. So there you go, you guys. Steve, send it away. Send it on. Let's get out of here.
Well, like always, without you guys, there is no Drake and I. It would just be two dorks talking to each other about women's fighting with nobody watching or listening. What fun is that? So thank you to Rue, Ghost Phantom, The Sound of Violence,
The best.
Yusuf, our boy Stamina came in and said
Flexed
hi.
on us. He flexed on us.
Yeah. Mr. Beckham, Chuck at WMMA Scene, and then missing one. I feel like we're missing one.
Mike popped in for his random comment.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Welcome, I guess, to our show, and thank you. And then to whomever else it watches, thank you for giving us your time. We appreciate it. Until next week,
Peace.
peace.